party people? What's going on? It's Samaj Marsh. I'm the founder of BlueDeathValley.com. I want to welcome you guys back for another special edition of Blue Death After Dark. Let me get that out the way. Have some back noise in my ear. But gentlemen, we're back here again. Let me introduce my guys. First of all, I got a former A&T wide receiver and a Greensboro native, Dougie Fresh Brown. What's going on, Doug?
My guys. Aggie Pride, how we doing, fellas?
All right.
Aggie Pride, definitely. And, of course, the longtime A&T insider and the beat writer on BlueDeathValley.com for over 2 decades, my right-hand man, Craig Turner. What up, Craig?
Hey, what's up, guys? Aggie Pride, back for another week. It's been a wild 2 weeks or 3 weeks since we've been together.
Been about a week and a half, I believe. Yes, yeah, almost 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks. Yeah, and so a lot has transpired. Man, where do we begin? We had a coaching staff shakeup. We'll talk about that, of course, in depth. We've had some more rumblings about our conference affiliation. A lot of stuff we're still undecided, and I guess we're going to be leaning towards more information maybe in a couple of days when we have the Board of Trustees meeting, I think on Friday. And the spring sports are revving up. So we've had our track program continues to flourish. We're still number one, like Carrie S1 said, number one in the nation on the men's side, track and field. The women are still doing great things. And then, of course, softball started up last week. They had a tournament. They did very well. I think they won a couple games. Bowling went out to, I think, Howard, or I think it was a tournament hosted by Howard, James Brown tournament. They end up winning that tournament, the bowling team. And baseball starts up this week. We got a homestand, and we should have a special guest to talk about the baseball season that's coming up. But of course, we want to talk about all the A&T athletics, everything in between, and football program. But we had a special, we had some milestones this week. We had Valentine's Day, right? Did you gentlemen? I know you guys are big time Casanovas. Big romantics. So you guys want to share what your Valentine's Day plans were this week? Excuse me. Douglas.
Hey, man, we keep it simple here in the Brown household, man.
Okay.
We definitely enjoyed our time. It felt like a 3-day event with Valentine's falling on a Monday, so we celebrated Saturday, Sunday, Monday as well.
Right.
Made it to the comedy show and stepped out for a minute. It was neat to get out. See some folk, man. I hadn't really been going out to events since football games like that, so it was nice to get out. We enjoyed it, and another one in the books.
So who was performing? I didn't hear about.
Oh man, it was Mike Epps, Gary Owen. He's got Aggie ties, so we definitely want to get out there and support Gary. He was rushing to hop on a flight. Yeah, he's Aggie parent. He's from Cincinnati, so he was hustling to get back on a flight to make it to the Super Bowl. So he represented, and we had some more. Tony was there. A few more people. It was good stuff.
Okay, I got you. What you guys do over there, Craig?
Well, I just had nice dinner. Just not doing a whole lot of anything. We've been married as long as I have. There are no surprises anymore.
Right.
So
yeah. What is this? 40? What? What's this? 40? 41?
Be 40. No, it's 39. It'll be 40 next July.
40 in July.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
It's 40.
Yeah. So we went out to the Grand Over for lunch, man. We tried to, my wife's a big time germaphobe. She was worried about this whole pandemic and things, so she wanted to beat the rush. So we went to the Grand Over, had a little restaurant inside there, and then what else? Check a little movie out, a little dinner and a movie, lunch and a movie. So keep the flame going. But guys, and so this is a big night too, because we got 2 basketball games going on as we speak. We got the men, they're down by 9 right now, 17 minutes left to Hampton. And the ladies, you say last time you checked they were tied, Craig?
Yeah, they're down by 8. There's 16 minutes to go, so they're down by 8 right now.
The ladies are too?
Yeah, they're down by 8.
So we need a rally on both sides.
That's against Longwood.
So Aggies.
Yeah. All right, but they'll turn around. All right, but guys, so we in the football world, we had some major news. We actually broke this story longtime A&T assistant coach Sean Gibbs. He got an opportunity he couldn't pass up, and as a surprise to a lot of people, he ended up taking the head coaching job that was vacant at Fort Valley State University, Division II program, SIAC. He's going to be running his own program now. You know, he was kind of the, I guess, almost like associate head coach down here. And he was a recruiting coordinator, but he was really kind of one of those glue guys. He did a lot of things that didn't really appear on his job description. He held things together. And a lot of people, when it was announced officially that he was going, a lot of players came on social media and had some, you know, kind of things and heartfelt things to say about him and the impact he made on their careers. So that was a major blow. And then actually he's taking another position, staff member with him, Deion Jones, our young inside linebacker.
Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel.
Denzel Jones. You got your wrong Aggies defensive superstar.
He got Deion on the mind.
Right. Yeah. Denzel. Excuse me. Denzel Jones, the longtime inside linebackers coach. Well, he's been there for a couple of years, but he was a former player, and he was Celebration Bowl MVP. So both of those guys are going to Fort Valley State, and I think they're going to have a major impact down there. But Doug, as you know, from our perspective, how big a loss is that?
Oh, it's huge, man. Those guys, they're huge, major contributors to our program and have been for a long time. I mean, of course, you know, Coach Gibbs, he started out here, I think back in 2002, maybe my freshman year was actually his first year here as a grad assistant. And, you know, he's been putting in work ever since. We followed his career. He's done nothing but win championships and be a winner everywhere he's gone. And to come here from Eagle Country and step in and face those challenges and all the ridicule and the jokes that we laid on him coming from down there, and to still be able to put his best foot forward and give great effort and have such an impact and really cut his teeth here at A&T. I mean, I know he's had some other stops, but what they were able to accomplish here as a staff, man, you know, huge impact, you know, huge piece missing. And the Coach Jones, man, I had a chance to grow up with this kid, man. Literally remember when he was born, his family and my family, you know, we're from the same neighborhood, and I grew up playing youth sports with his brother. And so I literally remember when he was born and him coming along, and it's just amazing to see him grow up and become the winner he is. And you think about the fact that he's been around football all his life. You know, his brother and his dad were heavily involved, and, you know, for him to go to A&T, play, be a leader for us, you know, be the bell cow and a guy who really got us over a hump leadership-wise and led with his play on the field. Let me throw that in. He did it on the field. And to step right into coaching, I know how tough that is, to command the respect from your teammates and kind of walk that line of friend and coach. And he did it with grace, man, and really jumped into coaching head first, and it's taken off. And I'm just excited for him and his family and what he's got going forward. But man, if you guys only knew the work those guys really put in behind the scenes, and we know them as their title, you know, what's listed as their title, but that by no means captures, you know, what they really do, you know, behind the scenes. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. As much as we talk about sports and talk about football, you know, that is a 25/8 job. You know, it never stops.
One of the things they were both responsible for heavy was the recruiting, and that, I mean, I guess it was a fortuitous thing that they left after a recruiting season. You know,
that's classy move. Yeah, you know, a lot of times you see guys running away and trying to take the cupboard with them, you know, trying to leave the cupboard bare or taking recruits with them and kind of whispering to guys on the side, especially if they know, you know, they got some opportunities elsewhere. But we didn't hear a peep of that from those guys. Those guys went on to the next destination with class, and that's all you can ask for, man. And they're going to do a great job down there. They're great recruiters. They know the area well. We've got some Aggies with some ties to that school. I'm not going to call out who they are, but they got ties to almost every HBCU. Aggie Rattler and a few other guys. But we got eyes on those coaches down at Fort Valley State, and we're hoping that, you know, one day, my hope is that those guys end up back here with a different title and a different capacity. You know, because they're good leaders and they know what A&T's about, and I think they'll be able to contribute to us down the road if things work out well. So,
Denzel,
best of luck to those guys, man.
But I say Denzel's going to be coordinating the defense, so he's going to be. This is his first time.
Those are young guys, man. They're so young. they're young guys with a wealth of experience. I wish we would have totaled up the amount of coaching experience we had on the staff and compared that to the actual age of the coaches we had. We had some young guys, but they super experienced. They have a lot of experience, So, the task is now, I won't say replacing those guys, but bringing in some other coaches to kind of re-gear up and come up with a new formula how we're gonna do things. Because to me, a staff is one of those things. It's like your graduating class, your football team senior. Once it's over, once you kind of break up a staff, it's never really the same. It's a different chemistry, different components to it. And not that we can't be just as successful, it'll just be a little different. So, that's the coaching world. Everybody goes through it.
So Craig, use your crystal ball here, and you tell me. So what is Sam Washington thinking right now? So he has the running back position open, but also really he had kind of like a valued confidant, I would say. I think he really leaned on Coach Gibbs for a lot of stuff,
right?
Especially recruiting, but just it's almost kind of like a associate head coach, I would think. He's wondering. He wasn't just a regular running back coach. So he's gone. Then you have your inside linebacker coach, young guy who probably had a lot of energy and a lot of input. What do you do? Do you go out and find just two veteran guys from, maybe some playoff experience teams, or how do you feel those boys?
Well, yeah, knowing that those guys were around for so long, I would suspect that Courtney Cord is probably going to play a much bigger role now that
Gibbs,
now that Gibbs is now that Gibbs is gone on. I think Cord moves up to that associate position. He's been Sam's protege for at least a decade now, and as much as Gibbs did as far as recruiting, Cord does an outstanding job of on the defensive side of the ball as well. So I think he moves up into a prominent position, probably as the associate head coach. I think they go out and get a position coach on that. They'll rearrange their staff internally of the people who've been there for like Terry Lance, been there for a good while now.
Right.
Those guys will take on more responsibility in their recruiting. Chris Barnett will continue to recruit on the skill side. As far as offense is concerned, you still got Ryan Mass as your offensive line coach. So the cupboard's not bare. But the thing that Sam will miss the most will probably be just that synchronization that he had with Gibbs as his top associate. But I don't expect that to change a great deal with Cord there. It'll just be different.
So this is my thing though. So is this an opportunity to add maybe a different perspective? Because you had these guys who were together for a while. Especially the core guys. Gibbs, Courtney Cord, and Washington all came in here under Rod Broadway.
Right.
And so, now that band's kind of breaking up a little bit, I think Washington might say, let's just kind of embrace that and add some more flavors into this mix. What do you think?
I'll say this. Knowing Gibbs and knowing Coach Cord, just how I do. Who's to say that those guys, are always on the same page? They're pretty two strong-headed guys. I'm sure there's some days when they aren't seeing eye to eye. They're locked in for what they believe in. Yeah. So, a different perspective. Those guys might not have had the same perspective a lot of times, especially being on different sides of the ball. We've seen them go at it in camp and practices, and they're two fiery guys when it comes to being on that field. So, I think that everybody's perspective is unique, and I'm sure they're able to align and kind of come to an agreement on some things. But every coach's perspective is different. Sometimes perspective is good, but There's a lot of guys and a lot of good quality coaches, and we've had some dialogue about guys kind of off the air and some other groups about guys, potential candidates, and who would be a good fit for what position. And personality matters. Are you able to communicate with parents, families, 17 to 20-year-old kids? Regardless of what you know about football and how well you can coach, are you a good communicator? And can you communicate with these young kids now? And not everybody's cut out for that. We take that for granted. It's not just about how you work with a staff and your perspective. Can you reach those kids? So that's what I think those guys' superpower was. They had ability to be in a room, talk to the parents, hang out with Mr. Hilton, talk to Mr. Hilton, whether they're talking to the chancellor or wherever. They could kind of relate to kids on all levels as well. So when I saw that at the camp, when kids were coming in from all across the county, the country, the state, and they're just able to vibe and rock with whoever. And then you see that in our recruiting, man. We've got kids from all over the country of all walks of life. So I think that's a tribute to what we're able to do as a staff. So
that's a good point. So how does this affect recruiting in the short term? Because we talked about last show, we kind of recapped the 14 new signees we brought in, but we all of us said that we thought that was going to continue into the spring and summer. So does that kind of slow that process down, or we still got the same guys that we're got our hooks into? Is it business as usual? Or is this a little? It's not a little shakeup. Okay.
I mean, and so nothing changes in that regard. Yeah, nothing changes in that regard. I mean, the board doesn't change because coach left. They know who they like to see and who they're targeting. And as far as recruiting is concerned, a lot's going to depend on what happens in spring ball because we're still picking up guys here and there in the high school ranks. But if you're talking about transfers and that sort of thing, you'll probably see another flux of movement after everybody finishes spring practice in April.
So when spring camp start? We got a solid date on that yet?
From what are we thinking? What I was told, it starts the last Monday of this month, but I don't have that in writing anywhere.
Right.
But I was told it starts the last Monday of this month.
So somewhere around the end of February, beginning of March, we should be starting spring practice, spring camp in earnest. And is there a kind of a rush to hire some assistants for camp, or you think does Washington? You think could he stand pat right now, take his time, look over all his applicants, or does he need to have 2 new guys at least on the staff before camp starts? How does he play that?
I think he goes with what he's got for camp, and then at the same time, you're looking and interviewing people. I don't expect to see additions before the end of spring ball.
Really? So no running back coach.
I think he's going to. I don't. My personal viewpoint is that better to wait and get it right than to try to run out and grab the first person that puts in a resume. I've seen teams do that before with vacancies, and they live to regret it because they didn't get the right person for the right fit.
What do you think, Doug?
Well, I'll say this: 2 things. I would look back to see what coach's track record has been, because we have lost a coach. We lost a receiver coach, and we replaced him with Coach Poole, who I believe was here. I'm not sure when Coach Poole showed up. We had to go back and look and see when he first started, when that vacancy came up.
This is the hard thing, because we don't know officially, because sometimes the website is a little slow to get updated, right? So we don't know. He could have been there weeks or months ahead of time, before they actually update the website. So that's kind of hard to track.
Yeah, well, I'd go by when Coach left, when the previous wide receiver coach left, and we all, we go by Twitter anyway.
Yeah.
And I would say, to Coach's credit and to Coach's point, and we hope that our staff is close enough that they communicated. I'm sure there was at least an idea or some talk that we may have to make a change staff-wise, or that possibility may come. And a good coach and a good AD is going to have a short list in his pocket of guys and potential candidates. So my hope is that it would be, a short list of guys that he already knows, hey, we may have an opening here, or, if something happens, give me a holler. Or I'm sure there's a list of guys that are beating down the door to get here, and coach has been coaching long enough that he knows, he knows some coaches out there, and the coaches know him. So we're an attractive school. The other thing I would bring up is the fact that we've been in situations before where we were left without a coordinator. Coach Hayes spoke to the year in 2002 when he lost both his coordinators midsummer. And, of course, he had to make late hires, and that definitely affected the outcome of that season. We went
so what did Bill do?
I'm a proponent of getting a coach in here earlier. And coach, if Bill had it his way, he would have not have staff changes in July, right?
But so what happened was he was kind of put to he had some pressure behind him because of the deadline, so he went to his Rolodex and he just went through Cliff Yoshida and who's the other guy?
Coach Ferd
and Coach Ferd. And these guys he knew forever. Like so if that is the blueprint, or if that could be something we could maybe watch, then Washington might go to some guys he had a cup of coffee with.
And look at most coaches in our program, the coaches who've coached here. Most of those guys have coached at A&T more than once. They're circling back around, and that's common in Black college football. You get a lot of guys, and it's their second stint at a university, second and third stint in some cases. I mean, Can anybody tell me how many times Rags has coached at A&T? Man, Rags is my guy, man. Rags is a staple. He's been in a few different schools, but I know at least 3 different stints where Rags has been back, and Small has been here. I mean, Coach Lee's been here a couple times. Chennis Berry's been here a couple times. So guys make their rounds, So we'll see, man. I think Craig's right. You want to get the right guy. You definitely don't want to get left out to dry or be left without a dance at the party. You don't want to be the one looking for just the right girl, and then the song starts and you're short. So we want to hire in a timely manner, and you want to build relationships. So we need a guy to come in here and get to know our kids. I've had I remember my freshman year when Coach Hayes and the staff were dismissed, and we, inherited a new staff. And I went from being pretty tight with my position coach to not being as tight with my position coach, initially. So that is a challenge, even for guys who we may consider star players. So those are fragile situations, and you definitely want to get somebody who can come in and develop those relationships, hit the ground running, so you can just get back to playing football.
Okay,
and have to do that stuff.
Now you're worrying me because we got some heat at both of those positions. We got so that's Jacob Roberts. That's Ty. Who's that? Is that who's that middle linebacker that emerged last
Taekwon.
year? Taekwon King.
You got Taekwon.
King.
You got Ty King. You got my man from IGM.
That kid.
Yeah.
I got to pick up roster. So we got a lot of young guys who I'm pretty sure bonded with Coach Jones in their whole development, and now we got to find a new voice and make sure those guys are still locked in. And then of course we always keep a stable running backs. So Tootin and Graves and whoever. Oh man, that's that. These are not just throwaway positions. It's not like a sock drawer. You just find somebody to
no.
You need some skilled coaches, because we're expecting a lot of things out of those guys, out of those positions. All right, so first let me give a couple shout outs.
We have talent though. We got talent.
Right? So they'll make their job a little bit easier.
Talent and depth, right? Okay. So we can and some experience too. We got some experience too.
Let me give a quick shout. I guess the A&T men are down by 15 with 11 minutes left. 15. So I saw we had an influx of new viewers. I guess everybody got tired of the basketball game. So Leander, Ian, Angela, and Terry, what's up? Thanks for watching us live tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. I guess the men are down. I don't know what the girls are doing, but this might not be our night.
They're down by 5.
Okay, so they got a shot, but we can turn around. We went down 16, only 16. Jeez. Okay, so we got some special guests coming in a little bit later, But also on Friday, well, we always get these Blue Death Valley rumors. I don't know how true this is, but supposedly there's going to be a board of trustees meeting sometime soon. Is that officially on the docket? Is that scheduled? Just the trustees meeting in itself, or is that just urban legend? I think there's some type of meeting going on this weekend, and people are looking into.
Yeah, they're having a trustees meeting.
Right. So people are looking into. We don't know what the agenda is, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. So people are playing detective here, and they're thinking maybe if we pay attention to the minutes from that meeting, we might see some news about our conference affiliation. Because as we talked about last show, the Big South is down to 5 football playing schools. Hampton and was it Monmouth both went to the CAA. And now there's all these rumors about A&T might be going up that way, or A&T might be looking at the Southern Conference. It's just a game of musical chairs. You talked about not being wanting to be left out when the music stops. There's a whole lot of implications. We're still looking at our schedule. We don't know. I guess we have 4 spots left on our schedule that's unaccounted for. We don't know when those are going to be fulfilled. So I think in the short term, we're going to start getting trinkets of information here and there about what we're going to be doing next. I'm going to say it's safe to assume that we would definitely be in the Big South for at least 2022. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So we're going to at least finish this calendar year out in the Big South. But after that, no one knows. And have you heard anything, Craig? You've been kind of following the story a little bit. Have you heard anything that would make you lean one way or the other?
Not at this particular juncture. There's some interesting scenarios that could develop, but it's going to be dependent on not only A&T, but some other schools are exploring their options as well, both in the CAA and the Southern Conference has already made a move to lock their members in by upping their exit fee to $2 million.
And that was true. I like that.
Yeah, it'll make anybody who's thinking about leaving the Southern Conference to think long and hard before they make that move, or if they were contemplating that move. So I think that's not an issue. But the Southern Conference earlier this week said they were looking to expand. Or late last week, said they were open to expansion, which opened up another possibility that again you go through the rumor mill, but the rumor mill has been fairly accurate from on the press side anyway, that we're in that group of 2. They're looking to add 2 teams in the Southern Conference, and we're in that group along with I believe it's Campbell. Are the 2 teams that they're contemplating. CAA is still looking at Hampton. Now looking at Hampton. Howard and A&T is their primary targets. So we'll see.
But like you were saying earlier, Craig, we got a lot to offer. We're a very attractive option.
Yeah.
For one,
we are.
We got the numbers. Okay, our enrollment, and I just saw a Washington Post article. Of course, we're the largest HBCU in the country, and I think we grew by 6% over last year.
Yeah, we're growing on average of 6.7% each year.
That's bananas.
So that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal growth. At that rate, we'll bust 15,000 students year after that. So,
and I thought FAMU dropped about 6%, didn't they? They went down.
Yeah.
So it's not like all across the board everybody is exploding. We're one of the few that actually are in this kind of this boom era.
Yeah.
And we want to ride that wave as long as we can. And
go
ahead.
Yeah, that it makes it changes the turf. I think for so long we were static in our enrollment, and over these last 6 years or so, it is as the university has expanded its academic programs and upped admission standards, and then the notoriety from the from our athletic endeavors has made us really attractive. And I was reading not too long ago where A&T's graduates now some of the highest paid coming out as undergrads. Some of the highest paid undergrads coming out of the university system in North Carolina. I think we're third on the list behind Carolina and State. So the playing field has changed, and what we had become accustomed to for so many years with the MAC, those rules don't. We have those ties. We're always going to have those ties. We're always going to be an HBCU first, but we're not just an HBCU. I mean, those days of being just an HBCU, those days are in the rearview mirror. A&T is going on a different path of growth and development that and where it goes in athletics is probably going to be tied somewhat to what we're doing academically and what we're doing institutionally. It's not just athletics. It's not just football. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So
definitely you got to think about track, because and Doug, you know this well as anybody that track program is on a different stratosphere right now. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these conferences have maybe not was so hot on us 5-6 years ago. They're coming back around saying, if we get A&T, we get the #1 track program in the country. That has to be a great selling point. I mean, let's think about that, Doug. The #1 track and field program, and that shows you how fickle and A&T people are. Like, we're already used to that. Like, that's not even that's not even a shock anymore. Like, we're already.
I'll be honest. I expected that this year, and it sounds crazy to say that I expected us to reach the #1 spot. I mean, that's just what I was kind of wondering why we weren't #1 out the gate. Do y'all know what we got? Are we coming back? No, right. I'm not. Seriously, man. I think it's, if not the best, one of the best stories in college sports. I mean, if you want to put it on a global level, it's one of the best stories in Olympic sport. To see what we've been able to do and the run we had, not just this year, but in previous years, and what Coach Ross and his staff have been able to do. I don't think they get enough credit. I don't think they get enough shine. I know there's been some stories, but leading up to the Olympics and the NCAAs, but I think this year people will really realize, because I mean, I know there's been some other schools that got some shine for what they were doing in football and who they hired as a head coach, but if you want to talk about what's going on between the lines and what we're getting done and how we're competing, it's the biggest story in sports. And I think that will
the biggest story. Say it again, because people don't understand.
Biggest story in sports. And I ain't talking about just a shot in the dark, a little, we made it up to the top. We saw the mountaintop. Dude, we're one of the best programs and we're getting better. We're growing. I mean, coach is still bringing in talent. I mean, he's got goals, and I'm all in. As they say, I'm all in support of coach. I can't wait to see those guys and girls run in person. We're going to support them just like we do all Aggie athletics. But what they're doing right now, I think we're going to look back years later and just say, wow, like there should be an ESPN 30 for 30, as you say. That's supposed to be an E60 story. So ESPN, I know y'all hear us. Hey, y'all out there, don't make us tag you. Don't be late to the party on this one, man. These guys are doing their thing. So
listen.
Let's get out and support our program.
My wife was downstairs watching some documentary on like a band. I think it was Prairie View or something. It was on national TV last week, and it was like a drum line. It was a dance. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about, Doug?
Okay, I've seen it.
What is that called? What is that? It's some show.
Remember the name.
Okay, it don't matter. Listen, we need the same thing for the anti-track program. If they can do a weekly documentary on PV's, band, whatever, we need behind the scenes roving camera covering everything about the I don't understand why that's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. Like you said, it's one of the greatest stories. That's one of the top 5 stories in HBCU athletic history, in my opinion. To have the number 1 track and field program that's come out of nowhere, and it's not a fluke. We've been doing it for years. It's like the multiple. It's like the 3rd or 4th year we've been doing this.
He's been telling folks what he was going to do and what he's planning to do, and he's been walking the walk and talking the talk. So, sit back and enjoy it. But I want to compare that to what we're seeing in the football world, and I mean we're looking at Coach Sanders and JSU and what they did in the football season, finishing second, and coming up just a little short in the Celebration Bowl, and we're celebrating that, and we're talking about a track program, man, number 1 in the nation. And performing like it. That's what I mean, week in and week out. So hats off for Coach and the staff, man. Can't wait to chat with him and get him on here.
Definitely. We got to reach out. We got to find Coach Ross and all we got to get some of the members of that track and field program. But we're going to switch gears right now because we do have our first special guest of the evening. He's in the building. Like I said before, this is the kind of the start of the spring sports calendar. Started last week really with softball. And now this weekend we have the home opening for the men's baseball team at A&T. And as I guess tonight, I want to bring on Coach Ben Hall, a friend of mine. Let me bring him to the show. Coach Hall, can you hear me?
What's up? Yeah, guys, Coach, can you hear me?
What's up, Coach?
Yes. Can everybody hear
Coach? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you good. Glad to be Coach. On. Hope you guys are feeling great.
2 things. Can you see my swag here, Coach? You see
that's sharp. That's
hey, see that? All right. So guys, I don't like to brag too much. I'm like you say, Craig. I'm super humble. I don't like to show off my toys or anything. But I got this beauty right here from Coach Hall. He came to me at a men's basketball game, and he said, these are like these mint edition. Can't even buy these in the store. Street value, this astronomical price. So he let me have this. So I'm super pleased.
Well, it was meant for you because the 2 I had left fit you and your son perfect. So it was it was meant to be.
Man, I tell you, I appreciate it, man. And I'm not hard to please. You give me free stuff, I support you for life. I don't care if you guys don't win any more games. I'm always gonna be in your court. But Coach, we're glad to have you here. It's been a long time coming. I've been talking to me about trying to get you on the show. And it's a very exciting time. But before we start, you are super knowledgeable about baseball. Could you please inform my 2 co-hosts here that the 2017 World Series, Houston Astros, that is not tainted. That is a legitimate championship. Could you please explain to these guys that there's no asterisk behind that? Go ahead, Coach. The floor is yours, Coach Hall.
Is there an asterisk on it yet right now? I don't think there's officially
in my book. As a Yankees fan, Coach, there is. All right. As a Yankees
fan, he's stealing signs. He's stealing signs. You get an asterisk.
Well, that's like they said in baseball. It's all happening everywhere else. They're just ones that got caught. So
thank you.
But
that's exactly my position. So thanks for clearing up that, Coach. So, Coach, what's going on this weekend? We got the first series of the season. You got a bunch of new guys. Down there at War Memorial Stadium. Give us just an overview. What to expect this weekend?
Yeah, so we got obviously opening day Friday at 4:00, and it's always for baseball coaches, baseball people. This I always talk about you watch the Super Bowl and it's like you wake up the next morning, you know exactly what's going on because that always is the week before opening day. And it's baseball time, but yeah, it's an exciting time. These guys, most people don't realize these guys get here in August, and there's not a game coming up for 5 months, right? They're here all campus working for a long time, waiting to play, and typically we're the last sport to get going. So, there's a lot of that pent up energy, and they're tired of playing each other, and they want you obviously want to see another team. So. Got a really good ball club coming in picked second in the A-10 in Dayton, and have had a lot of success up there. So it's going to be a good challenge right out of the gate. And I think both teams in some form probably have a lot of the same things going on, new players, acclimating a lot of newcomers, whether it be transfers or freshmen. And so, both teams will probably be in the same boat, really trying to judge competitiveness and seeing who can do what and just get the guys out there and play somebody else.
So Coach, real quick. So I looked at the roster today and I saw a whole lot of Fs and sophomores. You got a lot of young guys on this team. So how do you how you bring those guys up quick and throw to the fire?
Well, we've been super fortunate. I mean, the last probably since 2017, I feel like we've always had a veteran team. It almost is like every year you're just reloading a couple spots, and at some point you're going to have turnover, and at some point you're going to have youth. And I think what'll be interesting as the year comes, we're young in some spots, but some of our transfers have a lot more experience than, might be led on. And, 2 of them came over from Central. Both were all conference players at Central.
I remember seeing those.
And both those guys are bringing, second, third year experience. And our shortstop's going to be out there this weekend, started at Elon, so he's got 3 years of college experience, and you can see it in him and the way he goes about his business. So, a lot of the youth really just comes from what happened in COVID and how hard it was to recruit. We weren't allowed to go out and watch kids, and you guys know in baseball, you can get tricked real fast if you're not watching. You can't recruit off video. It's tough, but that's what we had to do. And so, a lot of those kids that we brought in that class were guys we were watching over video over the summer. And so, we brought in a bunch of freshman pitchers and got a really, really talented freshman catcher that will be out there this weekend from Florida. And so, it's going to be, you're what you see this weekend won't be what you see in 6 weeks. We got to get some young pitchers out there and get their feet wet and kind of get them through some adversity. But in the end, you throw them into the deep end and say, hey, start swimming, and that's what college baseball is all about.
So do you have an ace that you can kind of identify right now? Do you have one guy?
I wouldn't even say, like in years past, you had a guy like Evan Gates who you just throw out there and the ball game's over, or like Cutter Dials in 2017. I mean, the guy gave up 2 runs and 25 appearances over the course of a whole season. We don't have a pitching staff like that, but we do have pitchers in this program that have been preparing for their opportunity, and 2 of which both are going to start this weekend. Daniel Carter, left-handed pitcher that came to us last year and just didn't throw enough strikes and didn't quite have the confidence that he needed to go out and pitch every day, but he's looked like a different person. It's been amazing to see his maturation, and so he'll go on Friday. We got a transfer that'll go here from Pitt Community College, a kid named Logan Jarose, who's got a special arm. I mean, he was signed to go to Georgia Tech out of high school, and had some academic things that didn't fit for him to go there, so he had to go to the junior college route. And he's going to be anywhere from 89 to 92 with 3 pitches. So he's a good arm, a new arm. He's from Burlington. He's a local guy, coming from Pitt Community College. And then on Sunday we've moved our probably our most experienced pitcher from this team last year, Peyton Weinbarger, left-handed pitcher, to Sunday. And so we'll go left, right, left this weekend. And Peyton again has been his third year and 4th year maybe, I guess, and veteran. And it's hard to keep up now with COVID, like where these guys are in their years.
I was going to ask you that. So was there like a log jam because everybody had an extra year of eligibility?
Yeah, I mean,
how'd you manage that?
Yeah, he was. So I mean, that was part of the reason we had so much turnover. I mean, we had 9 COVID, extra year seniors last year. And, and then obviously you've got transfer portal now. So we had a couple kids, younger guys, that decided to seek opportunities at other places. And so, one different when we're not over recruiting here, we're not bringing in 60 players like a lot of programs are out there in baseball. And so it kind of put us in a tight spot coming out of last spring, but we were pretty fortunate. I think we tracked down some good transfers that are going to be really good here, and that actually, they might not be experienced with you, but they're bringing the right type of experience in here. And so the COVID stuff is just hard. I tell you, the recruits are more worried about it than anybody, because those high school kids, they come in and they're like, is there going to be spots out there? And we all know in college baseball, it's an equivalency sport.
Right.
So there's only so many scholarship spots.
You mentioned that number.
Coach Hall, I gotta ask you something though, man. I gotta ask you something now. I played football and I rep baseball because my dad played, and he played football and baseball at A&T, and I always wanted to. I grew up playing baseball. It was my dream at A&T to kind of sneak out there and get baseball under my belt. I wanted that title of saying I was a dual sport athlete. Didn't come to fruition, but when I came into school, we had a dual threat or a two-sport athlete in quarterback Jason Battle, who also played on the baseball team, who was also an MAC Hall of Famer for what he did on the field in baseball. And years later, I think we had George Hines, who came out of nowhere off the baseball team and led our team at quarterback when we really needed a trigger man. And so he became one of Thriller's guys. So looking at your team now, if you had to pick one guy on your team who you thought had the moxie, the kahunas, the arm, the leadership ability to step out on the gridiron and lead our football team or compete at any position, not just quarterback, who do you think who has that toughness to go out there and play football as well? So that's my first question.
Just about every guy on our team claims that they could play here in football. I mean, they all say that, of course. But a lot of I was like, I'll say, like, when was the last football game you went to? You seen our team? So, but I'll give you one right now. And when y'all come watch us play, you'll see it. We got a graduate transfer from William Peace. His name's Tyshawn Barrett. And the rumors floating around this locker room, the way he would meet somebody in the middle of the field, sound legit. So they sound legit. He played football and baseball, I think, at J.H. Rose High School up there in Greenville, North Carolina. Went to junior college and then played in Division III baseball. But last year he was like region player of the year, hit 10 jacks, hit over 400. I mean, he had an amazing season. So he's a graduate transfer here with us, and he's a big individual. He's
listed as 220. And he's 6 foot tall from Greenville, North Carolina. I'm looking at his roster spot right now.
He is a big man. And the rumors floating around, because there's some kids on his team that are from that area, said nobody goes across the middle when Tyshawn Barrett was out there. So my bet would be on him. On him.
That's awesome. Coach, I love that you have such a good rapport with your kids, and you have the pulse of your ball club. I'll tell you, one of the nicest events I've been to since I've been around A&T was the event you had pre-COVID. I think it was more of a fundraiser
first pitch
for your baseball program. The first pitch, man, what an awesome event! Talk to us a little bit about how that came about and what you guys are doing to kind of keep that legacy and that lineage going, because you had great guys like Joe Hill, some of the old guys back, and you honored those guys, and I think that's really important. Some of us old Aggies, and I call myself an old Aggie, that coaches, whether you've been here a long time or not, take time to kind of recognize what's happened in the past and kind of draw the past and the present and the future together. And I've seen it. I saw the impact it had on your program. I saw how your kids carried themselves, and I just was blown away at just the entire event, and just it was a magical night, man. And I think COVID kind of hit. But,
so we obviously have taken basically a 2-year hiatus. We're not doing it this year either, and it just is a product of some little bit of lack of help in some places and COVID. Not sure if you can pre-plan ahead enough, but we'll be back on track planning for next year for sure. And we've got some really good ideas, and we pulse our alumni. I mean, when we started, when Eric Hart really came, when he got here, that was one thing that we talked about when he first came was, every place I had been, we had some semblance of a first pitch dinner, whether it was, when I played at Clemson, it was very, low key barbecue, dressed down, but some places it's dressed up and, really nice. And And he did an unbelievable job. The whole athletic department did, of really supporting the idea. And it serves two purposes, just like you said. First off, it's to let everybody know that we're about to play baseball, and there's a lot of people involved with this university that are key and connected to our program and that are ready to get our baseball season going. And obviously to honor the past, and be able to, hopefully continue to bring in speakers and people who can, come in and impact your team. And then obviously parents and supporters of the program. And then really the last part of it is to try to raise some money, obviously, and continue to give you another way to bring in support privately. And because there's some schools out there that do some unbelievable fundraising through first pitch banquets. It's amazing what some schools do. And so, but you're right. For me personally, for it to have gone those first 2 years the way it did was amazing, because those events were awesome. And the biggest part is, like you said, it gives those alumni who, we all know when you guys leave and you graduate, you connect, but you don't get that many opportunities to connect. Typically it's once a year, and that's just one more opportunity, it's baseball centric for, those guys from past years to reconnect. And that's what was more fun about it than anything, just seeing those guys, teammates, get cranked back up together, and they start throwing all the locker room jokes around again. And, somebody's, how good they were versus how good they pitched. That's a really fun time with it. So that will not stop. And the history of this program is pretty special. It's unbelievably special. Most people don't know it. And, talking about some of the, the impacts, not just in our game, but just obviously in A&T, but baseball specifically is just unbelievable. From, those teams in the 50s and 60s, and, Coach Groom's years, and how much success, you look back at that guy's record. It's 30 years of coaching. The guy had over 400 wins here, and it's like, that's unheard of, right? He was basically almost 2.5 to 1 wins to losses, and that just doesn't happen in baseball very often, right? So I think the next cool part about that, obviously, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but is what we can start doing in our ballpark. And those are things that when you talk to your alumni, it's like, man, you want to be able to walk in the park and learn a little bit about what's really happened here in baseball. And so we're pretty obviously excited. That's going to be a big step, as we move forward.
So that's a good segue. The big news, I guess, last week or week before last, was that the War Memorial Stadium, the handover was official, and the university now owns War Memorial. It was a weird dynamic because we were kind of like, we weren't renting it, but the city was, they kind of gave it to us, but we couldn't do everything we wanted to do because we didn't have our name on the deed. So explain that whole process and what that means, because now I guess there's a new opportunity to invest finally into the war. And Craig he's a grumpy guy. He started a thread on Blue Death Valley called, he said War Memorial's a dump.
Yeah,
I didn't do. No, I didn't. No.
Somebody,
I
might have got it confused. Somebody said War Memorial was a complete dump, and they were
some guy named Thriller.
I don't know who that is. But so Coach, tell us about War Memorial and what it can be now, since we have.
So when I first got the opportunity to be the interim coach, when I met with Mr. Hilton, I told him, I said, and he would tell you this. This school has everything they need to have a high level mid-major baseball program. We just, the things that I don't have control over as a coach were here. And it's the things you guys talk about: the enrollment, campus, degree programs, nice city, graduate support, those are the things that, a head baseball coach can't fix if they aren't right. We had to fix the baseball side and the things that we could control. And so the potential that comes with facility improvement is almost, you can't really even explain it. The best way I explain it is you look at other high-level mid-majors in this sport and other Olympic sports, and you see what they could accomplish, it always relates back to facilities. And like I think about Coastal Carolina.
I was going to say that
for years and years and years and years, Coastal was just a really good mid-major. And then all of a sudden they built a new ballpark and they won the College World Series the very next year. And and so, and what people don't see is how recruiting changes when that happens. And now all of a sudden, Coastal Carolina can get a top 300 player out of Texas, when in years past the kid never even knew who they were or where they were. They're like, where's Myrtle Beach? They don't know. Yeah. And so this obviously process took, you can imagine as a coach, there were some rough days in War Memorial, but I continued, to tell our guys, like, it's our park, like, we're here, there ain't nobody else here. And, I much rather us be here than be at a park we're renting and then get kicked out midway through the spring. There's some places like that. I remember, it was a few years ago, we were playing down at Cookman and we swept them. And when we were leaving on Sunday after sweeping them, they were moving out of the locker room because the minor league team was coming in. And what a rough situation that starts to become. So, obviously the potential is unbelievable because there's just no limitations outside of, funding and what we are able to put into it. It's not like you're landlocked. There's a AAA quality lighting system that's been in place for years there. So the question is just has always been, when can we own it? Because once we own it, then you can take steps to actually make strides, and, we've done some small things in there. I mean, our locker room's been renovated. Our offices are down there now, and a new scoreboard a few years ago. So there were things that we got to, but obviously long-term investment, it's not going to happen to you till it's yours, and it's your property and you can do with it, what you please. And so, I just continue to be thankful that our administration continued to support the idea and push for it, because there could have been any years there where everybody just says, no, we're done. Let's move away from this. And I think that, with what's probably coming down the chute here in the next couple of weeks with that and the opportunity to start advanced planning, I think there's going to be some good movement on it, and there will be some phases that get to start happening here probably quicker than we all would have thought 5 years ago. I think there's going to be some good action on it.
Okay.
Yep. And
great news.
And that's exciting because, again, I go back to it. If you've got an opportunity to develop your players, you got a ballpark that people want to come watch in. We don't sell tickets. We don't have season tickets. Craig might have a seat that he loves to watch baseball at, and at some point, I want him to have that seat. And it might be down the first base line. And
okay, but Coach Hall, I saw a artistic rendering of, I guess, I don't know what phases was going to be, but it was a refurbished, reimagined War Memorial Stadium. Yeah, and it had like a smaller seating area right in the backdrop, right, and then it had like the long side of the stadium was all like a grassy knoll. It was like, I guess you could sit down like a picnic style deal. Yeah, and that looks so cool where you turn that into like almost a grass seating area. So on a Saturday evening, you could bring your blanket, and the college guys can bring their girlfriend, and they can just hang out on the hill. Hey, I'm telling you that. But see, look, so Craig's, you've been here your whole life, Craig, in this area, right?
Right.
You remember not the Greensboro Grasshoppers, not the Greensboro Bats. You remember the Greensboro Hornets. And people, I was born in Greensboro, then I moved to Houston when I was younger. But I remember when I was 7 years old, and the Greensboro Hornets played at War Memorial Stadium, and that was the thing to do in Greensboro. Everybody in the city came to East Greensboro to that stadium, and they had the beer garden out in the outfield, and it was live and jumping, and the whole old Aycock neighborhood was just thriving. Yeah. And I can close my eyes. I'm a visionary, but I can close my eyes and I can imagine that. Yeah, I can see that being a place where you're getting 1,500 people for any given game. I can see that.
You think about it, just development in general. I mean, obviously our campus is growing, and it's not going to stop growing. We all know that. And if you blink your eyes and in 3 or 4 years, you got a nice new ballpark down there, everything else will get nicer and will get more attractive. And it, again, like I think somebody tweeted a picture out of homecoming in 51, and it looked like there were 50,000 people in that place, right? And so we'll never have a baseball game with that many people, but yeah, in the end, you want a ballpark that everybody can be proud of, and that that we can schedule a Power 5 team and bring them in, and that our kids want to be in the park all the time. They want to be there, because the more they're there, the better they get. And when we bring a recruit in, and we don't want to lose recruits because they go to another competitive institution, and those guys are beating us on facilities, and so that's it's an arms race out there, and we all know how successful we are in athletics, and so it's coming, and I know that our coaches and administrators want to continue to push the envelope every way we can. Chancellor Martin likes to win. He like winning. So we're going to keep doing everything we can, and I would be really excited, once we're able to start unveiling some of the ideas. I think what you're talking about was an old rendering. It was one from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But
I was just happy to see anything. I was just happy to see anything.
I wouldn't be shocked if in a few months we're able to start producing some visionary ideas of what it might look like in the next few years.
Okay, so I know you got busy schedule, you got a lot going on, so
no, you're good.
You go, but let me tell you this though. So this is funny. I actually was at a baseball game right when the pandemic started in 2020. I was in and Chancellor Martin, like you said, he loves to win. He was there in the tunnel watching the game with me, and we started talking. And I said, Coach, Chancellor, excuse me. I said, who Coach Hall reminds me of? He reminds me of a young Bill Hayes, because I years ago I did an interview. Now listen, years ago I did an interview. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, not the Wild Bill side, but I did an interview with Bill Hayes, and he talked about how when he started, his facilities and his resources were so low, he had to kind of go out as a hunter and gatherer and bring back his own stuff. So he had to go to the business community in Winston-Salem and meet with Sarah Lee and meet with all the Haynes corporations and get donations so he could have equipment for his football team, right? And I see you being that same guy who's not going to complain about what you don't have, but just find a way to get what you need. So I want to ask you for a favor, just to put something on you. I want you to start being the squeaky wheel, right? Because I want you, really, because you're a humble guy and you make things happen, right? But if you tell us, I want you to call out bluff, because we got a bunch of people on Blue Death Valley who act like they can, they got all this money, these great jobs, they give all this money to the university. But I would like us to have some type of giving program just for baseball, right? I want to start a small size giving program, and you can maybe do a line item of things I need. I need this. I need that. This is $15,000. This is $20,000. I want to get this. If you put that out there, I think you'll be surprised at how people will respond.
Well, I'll give you a point on that. I think I've always said this. At some point, that you want to continue to promote to people who might support your program how much the athletic department does support us. And they come through for us. And Mr. Hilton, in every opportunity in administration, has supported us. Even and I don't ask for much, but there are things that you got to put your foot down that you need at times. And so, but I'll give you a good story. When this thing went live, that we own War Memorial, I sent a bunch of messages out to our alumni and guys that I'm close with, and I had two alumni give us I had one give us a matching fund donation, $2,500 right there, where his company matched it, and so it was a $5,000 gift that night. And so I think that's what I think about a lot. It's like, man, when you can get momentum and you can get excitement around it, owning our park is exciting, because now things can happen and we can take steps. And it's not always like, well, when are we going to do this? Why haven't we, it's just out. No one really knows, now we know, and now we can take some legitimate steps and start putting a schedule together. And when people see action, they get motivated to act.
Right.
And I think that's where I think we're going to really see some positive move that going forward, because we do have supporters that have been really, really supportive of us, and there's been a lot of things that we have been able to get that we hadn't, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But for sure, I mean, every Olympic sport at every school has to work their butt off, to really support the programs and to make sure that we're, not a drain on what the athletic department's doing too. So
I'm excited. So Doug, you gonna try to make it out this weekend? Are you gonna try to be?
We're gonna try to make it out Friday. I want to catch the opener, man. First pitch is always exciting, so I'm gonna try to slide out when I get off work.
You guys, I think will, as we go, you'll be excited. I mean, we had 2 opportunities to play this fall, and our team played really well. And and when we have a scrimmage, we don't look real good. I just try to think back, I'm like, man, we played really well in the fall when we played Catawba Valley and Florence Darlington, 2 of the best junior colleges in the country. So I think it's going to be a very competitive group, and we got a really, really solid set of captains this year that I think are going to be outstanding player-led group. And we just want to go out and compete and play the best. And so I'll give you one more tidbit. I know our schedule's out, but we've got another series we picked up. So in April, we picked up a series at Pitt. So we'll have a 3-game set up at Pittsburgh.
Okay.
There was kind of a scheduling mishap. We get a bye week with the Big South. It was supposed to be on our finals week. I guess, somehow they messed that up. And so we've kind of got a random bye weekend in there that's just sitting there for no reason. So we're going to go up and play Pitt in Pittsburgh that weekend. I think it's the end of April. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's not on the schedule yet, but it's out there.
Okay. As far as the Big South, is that like a totally different animal than the MEAC, or is it comparable, or
Coach,
a whole lot tougher?
It's a big step up. Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah,
hey, we like the challenge.
Up. So here's an easy way to explain it. I mean, last year they had 6 kids drafted in the conference. They had a first rounder a couple years ago out of Campbell, and they had 2 teams in the NCAA tournament. And so that's the benchmark for conferences. I mean, the MEAC in baseball, it is what it is. It's fact. We were one of the bottom conference RPI school conferences in the country in baseball. Yeah. We were either 30 or 31 every year. And, the Big South on a good year, somewhere in the mid-teens. So we jumped about 10 different conferences in this move in baseball. So
who's the heavyweight in the Big South?
Campbell is
Campbell. Dang.
Really, they are doing some amazing things down there.
Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, huh?
They got an unbelievable facility down there. They got their own weight room that travels in an 18-wheeler that they travel with. It goes with them on their road trips. A weight room, literally. So they're definitely the class of the league. USC Upstate has a really good coach that got there a couple years ago. Has made some big strides there in that program.
But we have Jamie Serber though, so that's like an equalizer, right? He's the best pitching coach in the nation, so that's an equalizer.
He does a really good job, and I know he's been really motivated because we didn't quite pitch the way we were used to pitching last year. So getting these guys back in the strike zone, being in the top 30 and strike, walks per 9 is something that we're striving for on the mound. So I'm excited.
Good deal. All right, Craig, got anything else before we let Coach go?
Nah, the biggest thing, Coach, we opened up with Drake. I think it's Drake this weekend.
Dayton.
Yeah. Flyers. That game is at the first one is at 4 on Friday. Is that right?
Correct.
And Saturday's time?
Saturday will be a 1:00 game, and then the Sunday game will be at noon to help them with the travel on the way out.
We should be getting some good weather. I'm thinking I saw the forecast.
There's good weather all weekend.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Last 2 years, I was really worried about our home field. We were really wet, but we're in pretty good shape right now. We got a little bit of rain Thursday night, but we should be in good shape.
I'm gonna try to bring my wife because she she's like walks around in like a hazmat suit. She just hates this whole COVID deal, so she doesn't want to be around anybody. I got season tickets, coach, and she hasn't been to one basketball game. So, but I feel with it being outdoors and there's been like so much room for social distancing, I can probably bring my wife and my kids. So
where do you like to sit, Smosh?
I just like to sit. It's not third base side. It's like kind of like that little nook, right behind the dugout, right behind your dugout.
So I'll give you a tidbit.
Okay.
We started ripping out some seats the other day. So,
oh my Lord. Okay.
The ones I think we all know about.
Yeah. The bad ones.
There's a section, that front section. It's right by where like our on deck guys are. That people can bring their own chairs. It's just concrete now. So, and I think we're going to take some steps here as quickly as we can, in some of those sections where those seats are obviously not usable, to get rid of the seats and just have a place where you bring your own chairs and plop them down and sit there a little bit more comfortably.
So right now you guys are in the mix of removing this, like some of the old broken down seats from the stadium. Okay.
Yeah.
So we might need to do a call to action for Blue Death Valley for that. We just have guys come up with a drill and some equipment to put in, have some shifts. Everybody do like 5 hours and get as many chairs as you can. And
I've been saying it for years. I said you give me a sledgehammer and you give these coaches and these players a wrecking ball. They're gonna go at it with it. They're gonna enjoy that. So
right. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna let you go, but before we do that, we can go around the horn, right? Round the horn. I need everybody. Start with Doug, right? We'll go Doug, Craig, me, then you, Coach. What's your favorite baseball movie of all time, Doug? Come on now.
Favorite baseball movie. Wow. I mean, I could go. The easy way out is Field of Dreams for sure.
Okay.
Angels in the Outfield.
Don't take all of them. Hey, listen. Just pick one.
The Sandlot for me all day.
Sandlot.
I was giving you my top
like
three.
that.
Sandlot.
I like
no brainer, right?
That's pretty
no-brainer.
That's pretty strong. Killing me Smalls. Yeah. Killing me Smalls. Come on, Doug. You can't mess up the line.
Smalls.
All right, Craig. Yeah. What's yours?
Favorite baseball movie. Probably. What was the one with Robert Redford in it?
That's mine. The Natural. Damn it.
The Natural. Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Good one.
Probably my favorite. Yeah.
Okay, so that was my favorite too. Nah, I like. You know what? Nah, I'm gonna go with The Natural. But me and I'm a bad parent. Me and my youngest son, he's 12. We watched Major League for the first time.
League, man. Yeah.
Hey, we snuck and watched that. That wasn't quite PG-13, but they had some scenes in there. But yeah, he loved that. He was there. I told him, I said, but part 2 is not that good, So stick with part 1. So I say The Natural. Craig says The Natural. You say Sandlot. What you got, Coach? Favorite baseball movie of all time?
I mean, for sure, it's Field of Dreams for me.
Without
a doubt. I mean, just the, and you think about this this summer where they played the Major League game, the Field of Dreams game.
Was that not awesome? That was the
unbelievable.
No, it wasn't. The Yankees lost in a walk-off.
It was a really cool thing. Yeah, that was probably the one. I guess that might be the only thing Major League Baseball is getting right now, unfortunately. But
they need a new commissioner, Coach.
But I'll go Bull Durham officially for me. I'll go Bull Durham. Plus, our ballpark's in Bull Durham, right? War Memorial. So you gotta give that one love right there.
They mentioned it. Yeah, that was so many good baseball movies. I tell you, baseball is one of my favorite sports. When I was working in Houston, I was working in Toyota Center with the Rockets. And after work, I would just walk down the street because the Minute Maid's on the same street as Toyota Center. And I would get like a $5 ticket, nosebleed ticket, and I would sit. Yeah. I found an empty seat. I went to like maybe probably 50, 60 games every year watching, Astros baseball. So I tell you, man, it's an addictive sport, man. I tell you, and I feel like we are on the cusp. When people see the track and field program, and they see that's being unprecedented, I honestly believe, with you and your coaching staff, and with the numbers we have, because we have great, enrollment, we got resources, and now we got the stadium under our, umbrella. I believe that baseball is going to be the next sport at A&T that makes a name on a national scale. Yeah. I see us being on ESPN. I see us being College World Series. I'm serious. I think this is going to be something big.
I'm not going to, that's why you play Division I baseball, is to go to Omaha. So we're gonna travel out there this year and play Creighton. Our kids are going to get first taste of what the national championship stadium looks like. We'll play 2 games against Creighton in the national in TD Ameritrade Ballpark, and make sure these guys get a good look at what the last 8 teams look like when they're in the College World Series. And because in our sport it's doable. Mid majors have won the national title in baseball. Right. So it takes synergy, it takes aggressiveness, it takes vision, it takes players at really high level players, and it's doable. You just have to keep plowing through and keep putting yourself in positions to do it. So that's what we're going to keep working for.
All right, so we got 3 games this weekend, everybody. Blue Death Nation, I need you guys. Our men's team lost tonight by almost 20. Did the girls win? The ladies, they hold on, they come back, they lose, they lost 2. So we took our lumps in basketball, but we can make it up with the hard ball. Still America's pastime. So we got Coach Hall here. He's giving me such inspiration. I'm inspired now. Oh man! So I'm gonna see you out there this weekend, Coach. At least one day, maybe a couple.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right. So thank you a lot, Coach, for coming out, and we will, like I say, please, if you need some stuff, call our bluff. We got a whole bunch of guys who act like they are just billionaires. These cryptocurrency kings and all that stuff. I want you to make them show and prove. So come out with some fundraising stuff, and we can see who's for real, who's fake.
We'll do it. All right. I'm not afraid to call you. I'll make sure. I know you'll call us out, so I'll call you out too. I'll get it.
Yes, sir. No, I can't. You know what, Coach? You bought my loyalty though. You gave me the hat. I can't say nothing now. All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks for coming out, man.
Y'all appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
See y'all.
Oh man, so that was Coach Ben Hall with the A&T baseball program, and they got some big things happening. Man, Coach, Craig, you can't help but get motivated listening to that guy.
Yeah, the baseball program has been on an upswing ever since he's gotten here. It was pretty decent before, but it's really taken off, beginning to take off into another level. And now that we own that stadium, and what they're going to do to it, is going to be mind-boggling for a lot of people. It's not going to be the Memorial Stadium that we've been looking at for about the last 20 or 30 years. It's going to be nice when they finish with it.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the artistic rendering that they had. It was floating around, I think on Blue Death Valley or somewhere else, and they had like the drawing. He said there's another one. He said there's an updated.
Yeah, there is
concept. I haven't seen that one, so you got to find that one for me, Craig, and show me that one. But he's literally been coaching with one hand tied behind his back because that stadium.
Yeah, that facility is that. Yeah,
it's a dump.
It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, and he made it work. He won a MEAC championship, I think, in 2018. He went to Chapel Hill Regional.
The year before, I was 18.
Yeah. And so, I mean, so he's making something out of nothing. That's been his mantra. But I want him to make something out of something now. And I want to see what he can do with just an equal playing field, right?
Yeah, so, I don't know if any of you guys been down there to see what they did to the locker rooms and with the new offices they put down in the facade down in Memorial Stadium. But it's like night and day. That place, they did a really nice job. They refurbished all the bathrooms down there and everything else. So if you haven't been to an A&T baseball game in the last couple of years because of the COVID, there's no reason not to get out there this weekend. Temperature's supposed to be in the 50s. I'm going. So Coach Hall puts a quality product out there on the field. This is they play good baseball.
They do. And
I guess I'll mosey on over there and get me a seat to go along with my Scott Hall brick, right? You know, that's one of those memories I'll put in the archives. So don't throw them all away. Don't trash them all, Coach. I want one that still opens up and put it in the man cave.
See, hold on, you just said something right there, Doug. No, say now you got me thinking.
Listen, before we auction them off, I want to get mine before we had a fundraiser, right?
Yeah, so he didn't elaborate. He didn't elaborate on what was the actual plan. He said they were moving seats. I don't know if he was saying they was just throwing them in the dumpster, because I definitely can find some use for those seats. if they just throw them in the trash.
Go, huh? I mean, I'm a sports romantic, man. So all the old stuff, send it my way, man. Yeah. But you know, I'd pay for one. Let's auction them off for a couple $1 a piece.
Yeah,
All proceeds go to the baseball program, right? We own the joint now, right?
We can do it. Yeah, we own it now. Yeah.
And Craig, there was even talks. I don't know if this was this internal message board stuff, but they were saying like they were could be some considerations on making that to a whole baseball softball complex, and like maybe bringing the women's softball field over there. I think someone said maybe like where the tennis courts are right now, because we own that whole lot. I mean, that's some pretty good real estate.
We own the entire block.
The practice field, you know.
Say again.
I think it frees up what you're able to do with the space behind the stadium. We always talk about
the football stadium
field, building in some type of covered facility. I think that we need that space, man. We need that space in the back. And I think it benefits both programs to be down there in like a baseball-centered complex, you know. So we got room to grow, like Coach said, room to grow. You know, we got the dollars, we can make stuff happen.
Yeah. For all the grass nuts that are on the website, when the renovations, when they get heavy into those renovations after baseball season's over with, that's going to be a turf baseball field. I will tell you that now. That will be a turf baseball field.
We haven't done this in 2022. Doug, hit me up, man.
I don't know if we still work.
Okay, so that's some breaking news. So you're saying they're going to install field turf for War Memorial Stadium? Yeah.
Yeah, because the long range goal is to make it a year round facility to generate revenue. You know, when we're not playing, in the off months. Yeah,
travel ball teams, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I got you.
How about what Coach said about the lighting system? Nobody took that into account, man. We got a good lighting system in there. You know.
Oh, it's bright out there at nighttime. It's real bright.
Yo, if you ride anywhere around the east side and they got something going on in the stadium, it lights up the whole skyline. So,
listen, I mean, when you roll up on Lindsay and Yanceyville, as they, you know, it's on now, right?
Man, I was born in North Carolina. I was born in Greensboro. Then I moved to Houston. Right, everybody knows the story. But around Texas is a real big baseball state. It's football, it's baseball too. And Louisiana, I actually rode down to a game in this is when Texas Southern baseball was really good, and they I think they played at LSU, and for some reason I was in Baton Rouge. But when I tell you this atmosphere at a college baseball game in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, it was like just Game 7 of the World Series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. It was bananas. I've never seen anything like that. It was not an empty seat, and every pitch was just euphoria in the stadium. Everything that happened. So we might not get to that level anytime soon, but it can definitely be a cool environment. Like if you got some knowledgeable baseball fans in the stadium on a weekend, that's a cool place to watch a game. And all they gotta do is just get all those broken seats out the way, and we might really have something. So I'm excited. I want to encourage everybody to come out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we're waiting for our last guest of the evening. He got called to a meeting, but also this week, so much stuff's going on. We got basketball. I think we got a home basketball game on Saturday. We got baseball, and across the country in New Orleans, Louisiana, there is the inaugural Legacy Bowl, and that is, of course, the all-star game for all the draft eligible HBCU football players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So A&T is well represented. It's going to be on NFL Network. What time are they starting it? Bad boy. It is going to be 3 p.m. on Saturday, February 19th at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans. That's on the campus of Tulane. And
that'll be 4 o'clock here.
You're right. So 4 o'clock. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why you're the brains of the operation. So you understand those time zone differences. But we got four A&T players who represented in that game. Jermaine Martin, of course, at running back. We got DeJoris Simpson, offensive line. We've got Corey Banks. He's made an appearance. He was missing for the last couple of games, but he's surfaced here in this All-Star game. And our hopefully our guest tonight, I know he sent me a text. He got had a little a meeting with some scouts they had in New Orleans, but John Davis, our lone snapper, all 4 of those guys are in New Orleans right now, and they're preparing for this Legacy Bowl. And this is awesome. Whoever did the recruiting or the marketing for this event needs to come and help out like A&T full time, because they've got so many title sponsors. They've got Patrick Mahomes is a major sponsor for this event. They got a couple of NFL guys who really open up their wallet and put some money towards it. And they've got like all week they've had nonstop media coverage. I've been seeing them on social media. Obviously, NFL Network has been covering it. This is a great spotlight for some of my players. So I'm assuming both of you guys can probably try to watch it or at least tape it this weekend. The Legacy Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Got to tune in and see our guys, man.
Yep.
Rooting for those guys, man, and in their future. So.
And for Jermaine, this could be major. If he has a good showing on Saturday and this whole week, because he'll be doing a lot of stuff with the scouts this entire week, he can really rewrite his draft profile. And some of the questions people had about him last year with the injury and was he still explosive, he can clear that up real quick with a good game on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these kids get a legitimate shot now to show what they can do. They've been robbed the last couple of years because of COVID and the NFL scouting system really did not give HBCU players any look at all last year. And you can't tell me that with all the HBCUs that play football in this country, you can't find one guy to draft.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
That's ridiculous.
Is
it
2 years straight? Is it 2 years or just 1 year?
It's been 2 years.
I thought the year before last we got there was like one guy. So you're saying we've been over for 2 years, huh? In the draft.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't even know if I count one guy anymore, Thriller.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's a shame. It's a shame.
So, it pretty much cut off after 19. Yeah, it cut off after 19. So I just thought it was a travesty. That on draft day I just turned it off after midway of the second day. I had no interest in it, so I just turned it off. It was robbery. It was robbery. It was a slap in the face. So hopefully Saturday these kids will get a chance to really show what they can do, and we'll open some eyes finally that all football is not played in the Power 5 conferences or the FBS.
Yeah. And so say Corey Banks. He like I say, I always was high on Corey Banks, and the way the season ended, I guess he kind of went under the radar a little bit too. But he's back. Doug, you've been watching him a lot. What do you think Corey Banks can do on Saturday to really shock the world? What do you expect out of him on Saturday?
Well, we know if one thing Corey Banks can do, he can run, right? And so, that gives you a chance out the gate. And he's got the pedigree. His father played.
That's right.
CFL.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
May have had a stint in the NFL. And also, he has the history of, being a Power 5 guy and coming from the SEC. So that looks good on your resume that you did transfer from South Carolina. Corey also has experience playing on both sides of the football, and in special teams, he's had a chance to return some kicks. So I'm sure he's getting a chance to showcase all of his abilities while he's down there. He probably wants to show them that he can do everything, and all you want is a shot, and it only takes one team to give you a look or to give you an invite and let you in the camp. So I'm sure he's down there doing what Banks does, man. It was a quick couple years on campus for him, and I'm happy that he was able to have some success. Of course, it didn't end how we wanted it to, but he was able to go down to Celebration Bowl, and that'll be my lasting memory of him. The plays he made in the Celebration Bowl, and even at the beginning of the year, man, he opened up as our go-to guy. I think we fed him a couple times in the Furman game and in the Duke game. He was kind of our safety valve and our third down outlet. And he made some plays, so he's got some film out there. And like you said, all you want is a chance. So he's got that chance, and he's got a stage. And we're not doing bold predictions yet, but I would imagine that one of our guys, our offensive guys, will score and going to get in the box. And if not, I got good money saying that John David is going to contribute to a scoring drive. All right.
Okay, so I just got a text from John, and he's there. He's back en route. They had a impromptu, I guess, meeting with the scouts down there. And that's the reason why they're down there to get in front of those NFL guys and introduce themselves and get feedback. So we're gonna try to wait for him for a few minutes. But Jermaine, like I said, if he can just take one to the house, man, to show show the world just what 100% 30 looks like. Because right now everybody saw like the 85% 30. It's a different when he's just confident he can put his foot down and his knee is going to be where it's supposed to be at. He can push off. I think he's as
good as anybody in the country when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's as good as any running back in the country that I saw all of last year. And that really is the question for him. Is the knee back? He said I think earlier. When he got earlier in the interview, he said he was at 95%. 95% of Jermaine Martin is probably better than 85% of all the running backs out there in college football. So if he has confidence in that knee, I see him having a big game on Saturday because he's going to get some touches.
Twine going with you. It's his time. He's been waiting on this one, man. And what a great opportunity for him, like you said, Craig. I mean, we all know how the season went for him, but he handled that well, and I think he's one of those guys that knows his abilities, knows what he's capable of, and he's been waiting on this opportunity and a chance for a long time. So I'm expecting him to go out, give his best effort, and somebody's gonna get a steal. I wouldn't want to be the team that doesn't take a chance on him. Don't want to be the team that doesn't take a chance on him.
What about DeJoy Simpson? He is going to be, I guess, lined up. Probably, you think he'll be tackle or will he have him at guard? I'm not sure.
He'll leave him at guard.
He'll probably leave him at guard.
Guard work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And see, the good thing about this, when I looked at the schedule, I mean the roster, they don't have like a bazillion players, right? So you get to really focus on these
to the
guys
best of the best.
You're gonna get some work. Yeah,
you're gonna get some work. You're gonna get your reps in. I'm not sure how many linemen they have. So, if you're in there, you're gonna probably play a lot of the majority part of the game. It's not gonna be like the Major League All-Star game where you get 2 at bats and that's it. You're gonna be there for
a dog, right?
Yeah.
He's a dog. He got a lot of fight in him. he still had some fight in him last time we saw him. Closing out the season. But I'm sure he's excited to get out there, man, and show what he can do. Because he was a leader for us.
I'll leave that alone.
Well, that's not my lasting image of him. And shout out to Jordan. Shout out Miss Simpson too. He's got a great family. They're a great supportive family as well, man. But my lasting image would be him diving, making that diving catch. That was the marker in the season. That diving catch was the marker in our season. It was
on the tip pass.
2 different seasons. The tip pass, man.
Yeah.
It was like from that point on, man. It was tough. But no, all jokes aside, man. It's a great opportunity for kids, man. Especially Black college kids, HBCU kids, and we always think back to. Like you said, the year that E-Bill didn't get his fair shake, and how tough that was for a lot of guys in that era. And so I'm happy that this event exists, and I hope guys go down there and make the most of their opportunity.
Yeah, and like I say, I went to the website, and they got Patrick Mahomes, Bobby Wagner, Jameson Winston, Aaron Donald, a lot of NFL guys, superstars came through, and like I say, whoever is putting this together, this is a first-class operation. I mean, this is as big as any type of bowl game you're going to see. And so check those guys out at 4:00 Eastern
the Players
time.
Association is behind that, right? Isn't the Players Association involved?
I know the league getting a strong push from the league somehow.
Yeah.
So I think the players probably behind.
Yeah,
that's where that
Players Association is behind.
That's where that help is coming from.
But I mean, you need more stuff like that. And like I was telling Coach Hall. I think we have got to, number one, tell our story better. Just overall, we got to find ways because we have a great story as Aggies. Our accomplishments. We should celebrate them better. And when we need something, we need to say, hey, if you have these resources, we can use them. And I'm going to try to connect with Coach Hall and find out the true vision he has for this program, and I'm going to bring it to our website. And we haven't had a major really fundraiser in a while for Blue Death Valley, so I think it's time for us to kind of pull our resources together and get behind something. And that baseball program might be something, and there may be some small things we can do with football. He talks about doing some nutrition, training table improvements. I mean, everybody can use a little bit, but you just want to be strategic with all that. So I'm kind of excited just about where things are happening. Let me check out with John, because I know he said he's en route, but so we're gonna stay here a few more minutes to see what we can catch up with John Davis. He's trying to get on the live with us as soon as he can. And then, guys, if we have any viewers right now who want to jump on the live, you got any questions, or you're angry about something that was posted on the website, if old school Aggie or Aggie 2039 rubbed you the wrong way, you want to air your grievances to the world, go to the message board, the BlueDeathValley.com fan forum, and there's a thread in the football section. And there's talks about tonight's live stream, and there's a link. If you go in there, you'll see a link. And you guys want to hop in? We'll be here for about 15 more minutes. And it's a free for all. We can talk about it, but I don't know. So, and you say, Craig, that camp starts on probably beginning of next month. Give me your top couple of storylines to look out for. This is a important season for Coach Washington, right? It's the redemption season. Okay. Yeah. We've and so far it hasn't been rocky, but he's lost his kicking coach. The kicking coach. Lost him, Coach Dom. We've lost his trusted assistant head coach and running backs coach, Coach Gibbs. He's lost his inside linebacker coach. So it's been, it hasn't been as fluid as he's wanted to be. But what's some storylines to look out for when camp starts next month, football side?
Well, I think the biggest thing is it's going to be conditioning. We didn't have an off-season conditioning program last year because of COVID. This year we've had one. They've been
Right.
getting in and getting their workouts. One of the players told me it was they had them up at 5:30 in the morning lifting weights. So they've gotten back.
That's good because I guess last time he was concerned about that.
Yeah.
Jamal
Darden said they didn't get up early enough, right?
Darden said it ain't.
He ain't like the time they had. So if they're going back to 5:30, then Darden will be appreciative of that, right?
Yeah, they've gone back.
On the time of the year.
Yeah, and class schedules and everything else. So but you're in the off season, so that's gonna free up some. That's gonna put a lot of time to put into the weight room. But I think the conditioning aspect is will make a difference. We missed all of that last winter, and this time around we're back on schedule. Going into spring ball, defense. You gotta look at the transfers that you brought in into your defensive secondary and getting them acclimated to what you want to do as far as getting that secondary back up to snuff. And also we're gonna have to see the development of some defensive line. Some of the young kids that came in here, a couple of the young kids that came in here on the early entrance. So yeah, we're gonna be working primarily on that on the defensive side of the ball. Those are the two things that we look at. Offensive side, obviously quarterback and running back, and offensive line across the board, really, with the exception of receivers. I think we're great. I think we're good at receiver, but definitely the quarterback. That quarterback position is going to be open.
All right. Okay. Let's slow down. Let's slow down. Okay. First of all, I went on the site. I saw my man A&T Roy is back online. Mm-hmm. So A&T Roy, if you get a chance, jump in. A&T Roy, I need to talk to you real quick online. So find the link. I need to ask you a question. But as far as the battles go, okay.
Yeah.
Now, Doug, Craig, we got Eli Brickhandler.
Mm-hmm.
He's there. We got Jalen Fowler.
Yep.
We've got Zach Yeager.
Yep.
We got Hooker, the younger Hooker.
Yeah, Austin Hooker.
Austin Hooker. And you said that Nick Wiles might be back in the quarterback.
Yeah, might get a look.
Wiles landed back in the quarterback room. Is that what you're telling me?
It's a possibility. Let's put it like that. Whether that happens or not, I don't know.
Okay,
whether it happens, what
it's for, right?
Yeah, it's for deciding that. And I told you on Saturday that position is open. I think the coach even talked about that. He has got to improve his quarterback play. Number one priority on offense was to improve that quarterback play. They didn't get what he wanted out of the quarterback position. Now, Jalen Fowler at times had some good moments, but at other times, especially towards the latter part of the season, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Whether you want to place the blame on him or you want to place the blame on the youth of the offensive line, we had a lot of movement in that offensive line. We ended up playing mostly young guys towards the end of the season in the offensive line, so those two things those are the two things on offense that we need to keep a watch on. I'm looking more at the offensive line than I am quarterback, because I think with a good offensive line, you can make a quarterback.
Okay, well,
we got enough talent in the quarterback room to make it.
Okay, so Doug, explain this to me though. Okay, so as far as the court, when you have a position group that has so much competition in it, right, and you really can't say that the incumbent is definitely going to be the number one guy going into to the competition, right? Everything's open. This is probably as open as a quarterback competition has been since I can remember. How is that structured, Doug? So do you how do you figure out the reps and who gets this and that? Tell me how that's structured.
You still roll the ball out there, and you still got an idea who's somebody's got to take the first rep. All right, so you still got a number one guy per se when you start, but you make no bones about it. You communicate that early. Hey, it's an open competition. Nobody has a job locked up, and we're going to split the reps up a quarter or so. So your number two guy might run with the ones in one session, an inside run, and he might run with the twos in Skelly and pass Skelly, or vice versa. So you find a way to get them some reps with the ones, whoever your top three guys or so, you might give them some reps with the ones in different scenarios throughout practice or different periods. But I'm sure coaches will do a good job of trying to get certain guys in certain situations to get certain looks, right? We saw Austin Hooker get a rep in the last rep of the spring game, right? He got in there, rolled out, the pass ended up getting picked off, and that was, or he ended up getting hit or something. He ended up getting hit and the pass got tipped, but that was the last play of the spring. Coach called it a scrimmage after that, but he made sure he got him a rep. He let him get in there and take a few steps, right? I think he handed the ball off a few times and threw a pass. So those reps are important. He might not have had a ton of reps in the spring or with the ones or whoever else, but he got a chance to get in there at the end. And I guarantee you, he remembers those reps, and his goal was to be better the next time he rolls out there. So, just talking about that kid in particular, he's a kid that has already shown some strides and showed some growth. We saw, his contributions on the sideline as being a signaler and just, doing those things. But, I saw a picture of him and bumped into him a few times in the offseason, and man, I almost couldn't tell him apart from Hendon. He's getting taller and his hands are getting bigger, and he's looking like a hooker.
That's a good sign.
He's grown in there.
Okay, so if you are, and I see you down there, Troy. Hold on one second, I'm pull you in. So if you are a Zach Yeager, right, or even an Eli Brick Handler, because he's on campus, right? Mm-hmm. What are you trying to do to win that confidence of the coaching staff? Like you don't want to. Obviously you want to be perfect in every rep, but when you're in a competition and you are like Eli, the new guy, what's some things you can do to endear yourself?
I'll tell you this, Phil. It's all about the work. One thing you know about, and we can say that about all the guys that are in our program, because we've seen videos of those guys when they aren't with the team. Jalen Fowler's working out with quarterback coaches. Brick Handler, we've seen his videos with his quarterback coaches. I know Austin Hooker is getting work in with Hendon and his family. They've been getting work in forever. Every morning they're getting up when they're together as a family and getting quarterback work in. So each of those guys have their own kind of home base and home setup in terms of what they're doing off the field. But they're trying to find extra edge and that extra push to beat the next guy out too. And you want that at your quarterback. He's got to be one of the hardest working guys on the team. So, even Zach Yeager, some of the first clips we saw of him were some of the work he was doing outside of the field, off the field in the offseason. So I like to see those guys working out. And I don't need your whole offseason and your whole life to be on camera, because I want to know you somewhere in a hole getting some work in, and everything ain't on social media. But each of those guys that we named, they're getting some work in, and they're getting better, and they know that the next guy's getting better. So I got to outwork the next guy, when nobody else is looking. And then I got to show up in the meeting room, and we're all learning together and trying to be the best teammate we can be. That's why quarterback's such a unique position, because you got to cheer for your next guy. You selfishly, you also want to get out there and be the man. It's hard enough if you can't receiver and you got 3 or 4 on the field at the same time. So hats off to those guys, because I wasn't cut up to play quarterback, man. There's only one of those guys.
One. Let me add Troy real quick. All right, A&T Roy, what's up, my man?
There he is.
Thriller, what you want, man?
Troy, listen up. So what happened tonight in the men's side, man? Because I was just peeking on my TV screen, and I know you were following it pretty closely, man. Because tell us what happened. Well, I looked up. We were down by 5 at halftime, something like that, and then it got to be almost like 20 points. What happened, Troy?
Hampton shot lights out. They made more shots tonight than I've seen them make all season long. They shot. It might have changed near the end of the game, but they shot over 60% from 3.
Wow. Oh well,
you're
not gonna be in.
Okay, so was that something schematically what we were doing to allow them? How the hell does a team shoot 60% from 3-point line? That don't even sound right. What were we doing?
We weren't getting to them, and we weren't getting to them, and they were making some that we did get to them on, that I saw. I was watching on my phone, so it was kind of hard to see as closely as I wanted to. But and they shot.
Our game. Go ahead, Trump.
Say again.
I know we said our game plan was to run Longwood off the 3-point line, and we did an okay job of that. But I'm guessing that didn't happen tonight.
Well, Hampton isn't as good of a shooting team as Longwood is, so I expect their game plan wasn't as, okay, we got to keep them from making threes as it was against Longwood. So Hampton actually averages like 60-some points a game or something like that. Man, they hit 90-some points.
We gave up 90 points tonight.
God, Lord, man.
So we ended up losing by, I think we lost by 12.
Now, I was in the last 2 minutes, we had like a frantic comeback. So it was probably worse than that. It's probably worse than
They got a couple steals. And,
yeah.
And
we had some garbage points.
They also shot at like 50-something, maybe 60% regular field goals.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Now, if you go and look at the statistics of the game that they showed at the end, you'll see that we led in a whole bunch of categories. But that shooting that they had tonight, man, it was unreal, and well, not just unreal, but something that they haven't done all year, as far as I know.
So does this deflate the team? Because we had a 2-game winning streak, and I thought we had figured out some stuff. We beat the #1 team in the conference, and now to lose by almost 20 points most of the game, second half at least, to on the road. Does this take a little wind out of ourselves?
Oh yeah, I think so, because here's what I told somebody on Bookface, because they were like, I don't understand what happened. Well, one of the things you got to realize is, man, these are 18, 20, 21, 22-year-olds that sometimes they don't keep their mental in the right place. And here's what I mean. Hampton, we beat them at Corbin. We really should have beat them worse than what we did. We just let them come back. So the kids are thinking, oh man, we're going to beat these chumps. Their record was not very good. So again, that's another thing that plays in there. Then we say, well, we beat Longwood. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. And go in there, and Hampton is like, man, we owe y'all from last time. All that stuff, and how bad I made Deuce mad in the game, the point guard, and that other guy who got thrown out.
That was you that got thrown out. Was that you that got thrown out?
There was a guy sitting 2 seats down from me.
Craig,
he got thrown out. He said something about the point guard's mama.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, sure did.
That one you though, right?
So,
okay.
No, what? Now I was like, oh man, that's messed up. Don't. And then the ref came and threw him out. But Gary Holmes said that I was next. But I calmed down. Deuce was really mad. How about he wanted to fight? Huh?
Wow.
Say it again.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's crazy. I didn't know if there was.
Did you lose?
You talking to me?
Okay. So let me say this too. They got a 6'6", 6'7" kid, Garvin. He was a kid that got thrown out against us.
He was a crazy kid. That's the guy who I was heckling. I was getting on Garvin.
Yeah, he had 27.
Oh,
he's making all kinds of shots.
You took them off.
Yeah. Pick them off. And the point guard, Garvin, I forgot what he had against us. He had 24. And they got a 3-shooter that made like 3 or 4 of those joints. Oh no, how about this? Watley made, I think, 4 threes in a row. We wasted a good shooting night from Watley.
He made them all in the first half, like the first 10 minutes.
He did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Troy. So I just want to bring you on. But my main reason for bringing you on here, I had an ulterior motive. Okay, so are you going to the game on this weekend? Are you coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to a baseball game and to the women's basketball game.
All right, women's basketball game. Now normally, not always, but normally during the games, they have a special halftime promotion, and they allow certain people.
Doug, don't get with this.
Listen, they allow certain people to shoot half-court shots for prizes. Last time you attempted to do that, it did not go so well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you going to try? Troy, are you going to try to redeem yourself this Saturday? Can we tell Aggie Nation that you're going to call your shot this Saturday? You will hit the half-court shot for the Bluetooth speaker.
Well, Thriller, let me make sure I'm clear about something about me. Okay. I'm not really a half-court shooter. I actually I shoot texts. So every time I played on a basketball team, if a technical is called and my team is shooting, the coach me out. Okay. Now I can't make regular free throws, but if it's a tech, I can make.
Okay. Okay.
So as long as nobody else is up there with you to distract you, you got.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, the ref even got to get behind me.
All right, Troy. So this weekend you're gonna be at the baseball game and you're gonna try to see the girls play. Is the girls game or other guys? Who plays on Saturday?
It's the girls against Hampton.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's against Hampton.
So hopefully they can get some revenge for the fellas since we got beat so bad tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Man, listen, I thought you wanted me to get on here because of what I said about HBCU players not getting drafted.
That is a good point, man. So do you think that some of our guys can show out so well this week that they can move up the draft stock?
Before I go there, let me ask a couple questions.
Okay.
How many FBS programs, football programs, are there out there?
How many FBS?
Yeah, FBS, like 300 and something.
Like 320 or something like that. Yeah.
Right. So, and they typically get the 3, 4, 5-star kids, right?
Yes.
How many kids get drafted? 259. 259.
That's a number. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So how many HBCUs are ranked in the top 20 in FCS football? Maybe one or two.
On a good year, we might get one or two.
Yeah, one or two, right?
At the end of the year?
At the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah. So here's how I look at it. FCS programs are actually really lucky to get any kids drafted because there are 300 and some teams that have what typically would be a better opportunity for a kid to get drafted. Matter of fact, some of those 300 and some teams have 2, 3, and 4 kids that get drafted, right?
Yes.
And so I just say that, man, it's really typically a 1 or 2 at the most. I don't know if there have been 3 HBCU players drafted as long as I can remember. Anybody remember anything?
But is that because of the number of kids, or is that because of the opportunities and the exposure? Because I will argue some of that plays in there. And the argument is that there are talented enough kids every year. There is a kid that's talented enough at an HBCU to get drafted or to fit within that 259. Every year, there's at least one kid at the HBCU that should get the nod. Now, I'm not saying when he should go or who he should go over, but I know there's a kid that's talented enough not to get signed to the NFL as a free agent rookie or rookie free agent, but to get drafted. All right. When we look at, if you heard some of the feedback that our kids get and why they should or shouldn't go to the league or why they did or didn't get drafted, some of those things make sense and a lot of it doesn't, right? Because it's all about relationships, who you know.
That's it.
Okay. Who's willing to take a chance on you? We hear the whole saying, it only takes one team to like you. No, it only takes one team to know you, right? One person in that front office to vouch for you, to say, I want that guy. You know, I'm willing to take a chance on that guy versus this guy, right? And because in the end, it's making a choice over another kid. So when we stack kids up, just like we started to stack players up. We started off with, okay, who's FCS and who's FBS, right? We started off with, what level did you play on? Okay, then it goes to, well, you know, what did you do? You know, how do you what are your measurements? You know, do you have the measurables to play?
Yeah.
And so there's a bunch of different factors, but in the end, it always comes back to preference, right? Preference. Some could argue it's job security. You know, am I going to be right picking you? A lot of people argue that scouts want to be the right one to find a diamond in the rough, right? Or they want to be the one. Some guys make a living off. I found Tariq Cohen or Daryl Johnson. I've been watching them for 3 years. You know, I've been telling my front office about them that we need to try to get them. But a lot of times it's just a numbers game. Maybe I don't want to pay a kid or take a chance on an HBCU kid. I want them. I just don't want to draft them and have to pay them and be obligated and tied up to them, have any money invested in them. We always hear that, oh, he got 5 or 6 phone calls after the draft, or we were going to take you right there.
Yeah.
And as soon as the draft, we're blowing you up. We want to offer you a signing bonus to come on in. Well, no, why didn't you draft me if you wanted me that bad? And you're on the phone telling 10 other kids the same thing.
And I think you have so much more security in camp if you get drafted, because that means they spent some capital on you. Versus,
you do. Look at Daryl Johnson, right?
Yeah.
The difference in him getting drafted is adds longevity to his career, right? He'll be able to say, I was a draft pick. I have a number attached to when I got picked, right? And so the next team, when they start to look at me, oh, I was a draftee. I wasn't a free agent signing. You know, I went in this round. They have signing bonus money tied up to me. We hear all the stories about somebody that's actually getting beat out in camp, but they're invested in the guy that they had to give some money to, that they're tied up to. We want to see this guy, see if we can get our money out of this guy, you know, but every situation is different. And there's no doubt that COVID, you know, played a role with our kids the last couple of years and having that exposure, being able to get on a plane and show up to a facility, work out, having those scouts be able to come to you and lay eyes on you throughout the season. But, you know, it comes down to film. We're in a better situation now, but there were times when guys didn't have film to give to the scout. So unless they just knew you, there's not a film archive. I can't go up on the computer and pull up all your highlights in your game film. Like, those are the things that I want to see our HBCUs grow in, you know, and having those resources. Sometimes it's not the technology, sometimes it's having the personnel.
I think this event is going to help do that, and we actually got our special guest here. So go ahead, Troy, finish your thought.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick to Doug's comment. Yeah. So I agree, Doug. You said a few things. The first thing I said in my comment was COVID played a role in it, right? But then you made some good points around exposure. You made another point because you said a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, I'll add in here politics, relationships. Man, as you look in the HBCU ranks, those things go down, 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 down compared to the FBS programs. Then another thing I think you can look at is how many HBCU kids who even get undrafted free agent contracts end up making it in the league. And so here's what I'm really trying to say. The level of talent as you go down in levels in football goes down. And so it decreases your numbers. Now, we had 3 kids that got drafted, right? They were all freaks of nature in terms of who they are and who they were. Man, Tariq, small, but boy, he was a whole different animal than what any of us had seen. Matter of fact, the leading rusher all time in MEAC, I believe.
Right.
Special.
Brendan Parker, 6'7", right? 300 pounds.
Daryl Johnson.
That's a hard one. I think Brandon did not give up a sack in all of his 4 years, or maybe one.
Correct.
Man, that's a good story. Yeah. Daryl Johnson, 6'5", 6'6". Though he was light, they realized that they can put weight on it.
He wasn't light by the time he got drafted. He had put on so much weight, so he was right. So he was right by the time.
Yeah. So they put him on, and he's like 250 pounds. Yeah. So back to your question, Thriller. I think because of the hype around it, what Deanna said and what people are saying, and us getting more exposure on ESPN and ESPN Plus and all that stuff that happened in the spring. Some people are probably going to feel some pressure, and we're going to get 1, 2, 3 folks drafted. I think Jermaine will have a good chance, but it'll probably be later rounds.
So I've got your boy from FAMU, the safety. I got your kid from Fayetteville State is shooting up draft boards all of a sudden.
I heard. Yep.
He's a specimen. So you got those two guys off the rip. I mean, they're both attending the combine, and you throw Jermaine out there, and of course we'll have some defensive guys to get a look, because that's one area that shows up, right? When you can run, hit, and tackle, that pretty much shows up on film, especially if you're dominating your opponent. So
right.
You know,
so
what I'm interested to see, I think when we get back to when HBCU football is doing big things, is when we get a quarterback drafted. We haven't had a quarterback drafted that I can think of since
Alabama State. Alabama State.
Hey, but guys, quarterback is a good position, but what about long snapper, right? Because we got a special guest in the building, and we have a chance that we could have a long snapper in the NFL draft. So Troy, let me let you go. We're gonna bring in our special guest. Hey Troy, thanks for coming by.
Sure, we'll be back later, man.
Hey, but Troy, you got a couple days. Today is Wednesday. You got a couple days to work on that half court shot, man.
Hey, man, I see checks.
And use your hips a little more, get a little lower body thrust into it, because with your form, we got to talk about that, man. But Troy, thanks for coming out.
Okay, hang on a second. Yeah. Look, can you ask them to let me shoot a tech? I'll do that.
I'll see what I can do. I'll make a phone call.
All right.
Keep it up, Troy, man.
Appreciate it, Troy.
Aggie fan. Good stuff, Troy.
All right. So, man. So that was A&T Roy. He's on the Blue Death Valley fan forum. You can check him out every day. He's there. He doesn't sleep. But I want to bring our last guest of this program, and he's live from New Orleans from the Legacy Bowl practice. He made special time to join our broadcast. Let me bring in former A&T long snapper extraordinaire, John Davis. John, can you hear us?
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's going on, man?
Davis.
Long time coming, man.
All right. Sorry I'm a little late. We've had a pretty loaded schedule down here in New Orleans. So we've been doing stuff all day.
Listen, if you was gonna hang out on Bourbon Street, that's all you gotta say. You don't have to make up any stories for us, man.
I wish we could do all that. But, it's been a great experience so far down here. They as soon as we stepped off the plane, they blessed us with all kinds of gear. Adidas is outfitting the whole entire experience. They gave us a bunch of travel bags and a whole bunch of sweatsuits and shirts and cleats and everything. So they've been treating us real good down here.
Oh man, so now that's dope. So this is kind of like a real, FBS type bowl experience. You're getting all the swag and all that stuff.
Right, and I think this actually is way better than the Senior Bowl because we got our own helmets that we're gonna have for the game that they gave us to keep, and by come game time they're gonna put every college's logo on the back of the helmets of all the teams. So me, Corey, Maine, and Simp are all gonna have A&T on the side of our helmets, so it's gonna be real cool.
Okay, so like you mentioned, there's 4 of you guys, a fantastic 4 down there. Are you guys just clicking up and hanging out together? Is everybody kind of just rallying around each other?
For the most part, we've all been hanging around each other just because we know each other. But I've gotten to know the specialist group really well, and John Maine's gotten to know the running backs and so on and so forth. But it's really, really cool coming down here because it was funny. We were just at dinner and we were sitting with some guys from Alcorn. Felix Harper, the quarterback, and the Charles Pringle. And they were like, "So y'all from A&T, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Don't y'all come down here bringing all those rings and stuff?" And we were like, "Hey, man, it's in the past, but
nah, man, that's
in your heads rent free."
Yeah,
that's good stuff, man. Time flies, man. John Davis, man, I'm not gonna hold you long, man. I know you got stuff to get to, and but this time last year, man, I think I was helping out maybe over on campus doing something. But this time last year, I remember being up on top of the press box on a cold winter's day and seeing a couple jokers out there on the field mess around. I think I saw Amir McNeil was out there getting some work in. Corey Banks might have been getting some work in. And then the guys were like, "Man, who's out there? They've been out there all day, man. Who's that one kid out there?" And guys were like, "Hey, man, that's just John Davis, man. He's out there working on his long snap." And for the whole entire time I was on campus, man, you were in the stadium snapping balls at the goalpost. So to see, where you came from, not only just in a year, but your whole time at A&T, but to see your hard work actually pay off and you get that invite. And tell us what it was like to get that call and realize, hey man, I'm going not only to New Orleans to play in the bowl game, but to have a legit opportunity to go continue doing something I love and playing football.
Right. So it was awesome to get the invite. You know, I started 47 straight games for the Aggies.
Nice.
And
I
did not hear my name come up.
There you go. There you go.
I gotta add that to my list. That means
I did not hear my name come up.
47. Hold on. Go back. Slow down.
Yeah.
47 straight games you started.
47 straight games.
47 straight.
Wow.
But you guys didn't know that, did you?
No, sir.
Because I was doing my job, which is how it is with long snapping.
Yes, sir. That's a good point.
Right. So it was just really nice to finally get to do something else, step up a little bit more. Not a lot of people know about special teams and long snapping and kicking and stuff like that and that whole process. So it was kind of cool to put a new light in A&T when, we've had a lot of great specialists in the past, but we've never really had a long snapper, go on and play in an event like this before. So it's really exciting.
Nice.
So what feedback have you gotten so far from the scouts? Because I'm sure that's part of the reason why you're down there. You're trying to audition and interview with NFL people who can hire and give you a job. So what have they told you about what they think of you?
Right. So it's actually really exciting. We get to punt, snap, and field goal snap right there, and all 32 teams are out there scouting. And the big thing they said for me personally is I need to gain a little bit more weight. I'm 220 right now, but by senior day I'll be 230, which is about the weight that I need to be at. And the tough thing is all the long snappers in the NFL these days are between 6'2" and 6'5". So I'm floating right around there at 6 foot and 6'1". So that was the big thing they want. But all my snaps were on point, so they were really excited about that. All my field goals were laces out. So that was a big focus, as they said. Your snapping ability is absolutely where it needs to be for NFL. We just got to make sure we get the exact size that I need to be.
The measurables, right?
Right.
So I guess you're saying you're about 10 pounds away from you feel like your ideal pro weight?
Right, exactly.
So what's your plan? You going to hire a trainer or something like that? You're just going to eat at KFC every day or something like that? How do you put on, like, because I know how I can put on 10 pounds of weight, but how do you want to put on 10 pounds of, I guess, muscle, I guess?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But I actually live in Miami Beach. I'm training down there right now with a trainer. And I have a nutritionist. So I ended last season around 205 is what I started off about 215 and finished around 205. So over the past however many months since Gardner Webb, I've gained about 15 pounds of muscle. So that's really good. So I'm really on track right now to where I need to be. So that's how I've been kind of managing that.
That's awesome.
I have one question, John Davis. Aside from being the first couple of Aggie athletics, we know that you were with young Edie Brewer. I had a chance to meet her over at campus when we fed the team. And she had a lot of glowing things to say about you. But I also follow you online. You may be the most interesting man in long snapping. I see you traveling. I see you having a good time. Are you looking forward to being away from college and kind of taking on some new endeavors? What are you looking forward to outside of football?
It's so crazy people ask me that because, I spent the first 3 years of college just in the classroom, snapping and focused. And when people were partying, I was always in my room, kind of just like doing work, keeping to myself. And now I feel like now that I'm out of college, I really wish I would have gone back and done all that stuff now. But, I'm excited, all the things I learned from A&T and applying them to life. I actually live down in Miami Beach. I run a yacht chartering company. It's a family business, so I have a boat that I work on that I run down there.
Davis
so
numbers.
Hold on a second. So John, I'm a former journalism mass communication major. So when we learn how to write articles, they have a thing called burying the lead. You don't want to put your most important information at the bottom. So you should have led with that. You should have said that you have access to yachts, because that's all I care about now. So forget about the NFL. Let's talk about
really.
You have a family business, and you guys charter yachts. Is that correct?
Well, it is correct. My dad works in finance, and I've grown up on boats my entire life. We boated on Lake Michigan, and then we boated in Miami the past 10 years. And so the boat we had up in Chicago was a 50-foot yacht. We brought it down to Miami last August, and then my dad wanted to sell it, and I said, hey, let me take it and turn it into a chartering business? And he said, sure. So then we found some dockage space in Miami, and then I launched the business from there. And I've actually been managing that on the side during our last season. So I was playing football, finishing my MBA, and then also managing a yacht chartering business. So I was making sure I was staying really busy in my final semester.
Aggies do.
Aggies do, for real. That is so cool. So do you know how to like actually steer the yacht? I mean, do you have like a captain's license or whatever? Are you able to?
So we have a full-time crew. So I have a captain and some stewardesses that we have on call. I keep my captain on salary all year round because he's also my engineer, and he does all the work on the boats for us. So he does a lot I do most of the business side, and he does all the hands-on things.
Okay.
And it really runs itself in a lot of phases, but I like to be there to make sure everything runs smoothly.
So I'm just saying, if something happened to your captain in the middle of the ocean, you could bring the yacht back safely to the shore.
I could. I mean, I could operate. I can drive it. I don't have a captain's license, but I've been around boats so long that it's day and night really for me at this point.
That is so awesome. That is awesome. All right, so let's go back to football though. So this week, how many long snappers are in New Orleans this week?
So it's just two. One on Team Robinson, and then just me on Team Gaither.
Gotcha. So you'll be doing pretty much everything for your team.
100%.
You'll be great. So that's a super amount of reps.
Yeah.
And the game is 3:00 New Orleans time, 4:00 Eastern time on NFL Network, and they're selling tickets, so there should be a pretty decent crowd, I would think.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a great show out. I'm really excited. They've really been advertising super well. Last night we got to meet the mayor of New Orleans and the owner of the Saints, and they've done a really great job of just advertising and pushing this game out to everyone to make sure that it gets a good crowd there at Tulane.
Okay, and can you give us a little quick, report on how our other guys are doing, Jermaine and Simpson and Banks? How those guys looking? Have you been able to kind of peek in a little bit?
I have, and that's the best part about being a specialist. We did this at A&T. We do a little bit of our work, field goal, punt, and then the rest of the hour and a half we just observe and watch.
Okay.
So John Maine, he's been absolutely lighting it up down here. It's crazy. The trainer he works with, he's been working with Brandon Marshall down in Florida also, and his body transformation's just been crazy.
Wow.
When he stepped off the plane, he looks just like so muscular and so cut right now, and he's just been toting the rock. And all the scouts, every time he runs the ball, catches the ball, you see them penciling things down. And Simpson, he did really good today also. He was actually a highlighted player in the one-on-ones. He's been really strong there in the interior line. And Corey's just doing his thing, running super sharp routes and catching all the balls that come his way. So it's been really great for all of us. We've been putting a good showing down here for A&T.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. And let me ask you this though, since before we let you go, we had some news on the coaching front last week with Coach Gibbs and Coach Jones both leaving to take positions at Fort Valley State University. And I know Coach Jones, Coach Gibbs kind of has some his hand in special teams a little bit. What were your thoughts on his, getting that promotion, I guess, and this what type of impact you think that's going to have with the program?
I actually talked to him about this a little bit over the past few months. I always thought that he'd been such a great fit for head coach at any program, and I'm really glad that he's finally getting that opportunity. And he actually recruited me to come to A&T, so it was a little bit more personal for me. And him running special teams, he always took it so seriously, and he always stressed little things. And we always say that defense wins football games, but him and I, we had our little agreement between us that we believe that special teams wins football games. And I'm definitely excited to see how all these new young guys up and coming are going to do, taking over the reins after we had such a massive flip, with me graduating and Mike grad transferring, and then we lost Noel a couple of years ago. So it's going to be a big transformation for the special teams unit, but I'm excited to see what they can put out there.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to fill. I mean, that's big shoes to fill all across. I mean, you, Mike, I think Mike is at San Jose State now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. And but I mean, I'm saying I think it's almost one of those deals where you don't know what you have until it's gone. Unfortunately.
Right.
And you guys were so consistent, especially you. I mean, and I told you, I think I sent you a text message or something. I said, by far, you were the greatest long snapper I've ever seen.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
But the fact is, like you said, because I didn't think about it, it's like it was automatic. You know, when we had a field goal or a punt or whatever, it was going to happen. It was going to get executed, at least from the snap part, without any worry. So you take it for granted, you know. And so hopefully, you know, we can have a formula so we don't have to start getting all nervous about that stuff again. Because trust me, I remember when those things were not a given, and you talking about pins and needles every time the ball went back there. But when did you become, I guess, focused as a child, a young athlete about long snapping? Because that's not something that, you know, kids don't want to grow up to be a firefighter, a policeman, astronaut, and long snapper. Well, how did you pick long? You know what I'm saying? How did you pick long snapper as your trade that you were going to pursue?
Right. So the way that most guys get into it is either in middle school or high school. Their coach says, "Hey, we need someone to do it," and then someone steps up. So that was how it worked out for me in like 8th grade. And then my dad told me, he's like, "Hey, you know, you can get scholarships to go do this in college." And I was like, "Seriously?" And so I started training at showcases and camps. And I have a personal trainer back in Chicago, where I grew up, that I worked with every weekend. And you know, I rolled in a few offers my senior year. I was actually committed to FAU, but then I decided to decommit and go to A&T because I want to go to HBCU really badly. And what better one than, you know, A&T, the best one in the whole country. It was really exciting because I saw that was the year that I graduated high school was the year Tariq got drafted by the Bears. So I was like, okay, well, they just had a guy get drafted. The Bears, my favorite team, just drafted a guy from the school. I should probably go there. And then the rest is history.
So slow down. You were in Chicago, the Chicagoland area? Were you in Chicago City or right outside?
Chicagoland area. So
okay,
the suburbs about 30 minutes outside.
So you went in like Chirac. You went in like, you know, the.
I was not in Chirac. I was not, okay. I was not in the part that you hear about in the rap section.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, but you had an affinity for HBCUs and you wanted to experience HBCU culture.
I did because I grew up in a predominantly white community, and I really wanted to, you know, expand my horizons and learn more about, you know, my blackness and my black side, which is not something really I got to experience too much growing up, and I thought it was really important for me to dive more into that and to really learn and surround myself with other people that want to be surrounded by Black excellence.
That's dope. So did you have any feelings about the news about A&T leaving the MEAC? Obviously a HBCU conference. Were you for, against, indifferent? What were your thoughts when that happened?
Right. So when the news broke, I was like, you know, that's good for them. In the future, they'll get a shot in the playoffs, because by the time that rolled around, I was supposed to already be gone. Yeah. You know, 2020 is supposed to be my senior season. But then next thing you know, COVID hits, and now I'm playing in the Big South. And it was really tough because I always loved playing the Celebration Bowl. You know, that was my favorite experience. And, you know, after my freshman year, my parents just started marking on the calendar in August. They'd be like, all right, so we'll be in
we all did. We all did.
Me too.
We all did.
Right.
We all did.
And, you know, it was great. I love being in the HBCU conference. I love the Battle of the Bands. I love going to all the different stadiums and things like that, being surrounded by other Black people. And, you know, it was tough at first, and the adjustment to the Big South was definitely not easy. You know, but I trusted that the administration know exactly what they were going to do. I'm sure they had a plan that was way beyond me, way above my pay grade for the future. So I really hope that, you know, everything works out. I know that the Big South has some people leaving, and it's getting a little shaky right now, but, you know, I'm confident that we'll figure it out and hopefully get back on the track that we're used to being on as a program.
Gotcha. All right, so guys, this guy he's been answered the bell when above and beyond the Call of Duty, because he rushed back from the hotel to get back on his hotel Wi-Fi to do this. You know, he's been super great with his time. And John, we wish you the best, man. Like, we're rooting for you. I didn't know you were this interesting. I thought you was a boring long snapper. And now I found out you like one of the most interesting people like I've ever met. So can you come back on the show again, like, and later on this football season, just as a correspondent?
Let me know.
We don't even have, hey, listen, we don't even have to talk football. We can talk, man. We can talk water, boats, whatever
anything.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So
Absolutely.
Craig, you got anything else, Craig? You wanna run by this guy?
Nah, I'm like you. I'm like you, man. I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
All I can say, John, you've taken it to another level, man. And I hope this NFL thing works out. If it don't, I got a feeling you're gonna be okay.
All right.
Definitely. If it doesn't work out, you guys are. Even if it does work out, y'all are all welcome to come down to Miami Beach anytime and come on the boat.
One of my favorite spots, John. I'm gonna hold you to
all right.
Listen.
I might get afford the boat.
No problem.
Here's the thing about this. This is recorded, so it's time stamped. So when I show up and they try to Doug, when they try to call the cops, I'm like, the hell, I got an invite. Yo, man, for real. That's so cool. I kind of am so curious now. I want to find out about this business because, like, I know what your quarterback Kingsley and Fetty, he was a real business-minded guy as a graduate, and he was putting out Instagram stuff about doing taxes, and he had like an Airbnb.
He was actually just on my boat a few days ago. He came down to hang out with me for a while, and he actually shot a promotional video for his business on my boat.
Jeez Louise. So
yeah.
And so Doug is he's kind of one of those late bloomers. He's starting a hip hop career. And so you're saying he can probably use your boat for one of his video shoots.
Come on now, let's do it.
All right, Doug. So there you go, man. Hey, listen, man. A lot of guys get started in the rap game late, Doug.
That guy, John. Yeah. It won't be in rapping, but we'll rap about some other stuff, John, for sure, man. Miami is my spot.
Oh, man. But hey, so John, I'm going to bug you now, and we're going to get you back on the show a couple of times because I'm thinking some cool out-of-the-box stuff we can do because you definitely have a cool perspective on things. But let's focus on football for this week. 3 o'clock New Orleans, 4 o'clock Eastern time. It's going to be on NFL Network. It is the Legacy Bowl, which is probably one of the coolest things that I've seen in a long time. You guys are blessed to be a part of it. The NFL is taking it so seriously. They're putting all the promotions and bells and whistles on it. And you guys get to keep your helmets. Hey, do me a favor. So take a picture of all that stuff and put it on Twitter because I'm not on Instagram. So show me all the cool stuff, and I can live vicariously through you. Because that sounds like some
I got
fun
you.
stuff. Yeah. But tell all the fellas that we are rooting for them and we're so proud. Go ahead and get some rest, man. And we will we're gonna watch you on Saturday, but we're gonna definitely be in touch, John.
Definitely, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on here.
Man, it's been my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right.
You too.
Oh man. So geez Louise, you should have told me he was gonna be that cool. I would have got him on sooner.
Man, he's a cool guy, man. Neat kid.
Dude, these guys got some money. I'm talking about yachts and video shoots. I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. Craig, I need to go back to school.
I'm about 30 years too late. Man,
I've been doing
guys,
boat shoots.
Man.
Yeah. I've been doing video shoots.
I was on a John boat fishing on a John boat. Not a yacht. All right.
I went to those paddle boats in Country Park, the big ducks they have. I did a video shoot out there for my business.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, wow. Man.
We got some amazing students.
That's crazy
in our university, don't we?
Yo, right. That. If you are interested in going and playing football, that's a recruiting tool right there. That little portion of this live stream was probably one of the best recruiting tools you can imagine because so he's competing for an NFL spot, right? He's in a bowl game for the upper echelon HBCU football players, draft eligible players, and he might get a chance to get selected or whatever. But even if that doesn't work out, look at all the stuff he's accomplished just by coming to A&T, HBCU, which he wanted to go, right? He had other options. He wanted to go to HBCU. He wanted Spirits, but he said it was Black excellence. It paid off for him. He's got his degree. I think he's got his master's degree, whatever, in business. And that dude is killing it, man. A yacht business.
That's NBA.
It's NBA. Jeez,
no, listen,
man.
Yep.
Those are the special stories of kids and relationships and teammates that you remember, man. Like, we talk about recruiting and, why don't we recruit in our backyard down the street? Well, sometimes there's a kid in Michigan that grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood that wants to come to A&T and experience Black culture. And look how it changed his life, right? That's amazing, man. Those are some really cool stories right there.
All right, look, so we about to go because it's like 10:30 in school night. So we got two guys who just jumped in. So I'm gonna add both of these guys at the same time to the stream. A&T Roy's back. I don't know what the hell he wants. This could be bad. There's somebody named Bobo, and I hope Bobo is
Bobo.
I haven't vetted you, Bobo. I don't know who you are. I'm gonna give you a shot, man. Please don't make me regret it. So let me add Troy and Bobo to the building. Bobo, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hey, so fellas, we about to get off this stream, but I wanted to bring you guys back, man. But what y'all think about John Davis, man? That was awesome, right? Is that what Aggies do? That's what Aggies do, huh?
Yeah.
Man, Bobo, that was crazy, man.
Yeah, Bobo, what's talking to you?
Oh, okay.
Bobo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Bobo, what do you think about John Davis, Bobo?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so you've been paying attention, right? I got you. So Bobo, what do you think about this? The football season, the football team, 2022. What are your thoughts about that? Feel good about it?
2022 or 2021?
So last season, how'd you feel about the team last year?
I thought we were too undisciplined, and we just stank the place up every week.
So do you feel like that has been addressed this offseason?
I don't know if it has or not, but I hope it has.
So the discipline definitely was not a strong point. We got to get better in that regard.
Yeah, we killed ourselves in every game. We killed ourselves.
Well, I do believe we led the Big South in penalties. So that's an excellent point. And I think Coach Washington and his post-game, his season finale press conferences after the Garden Ware game, he addressed that. He knows that the discipline, the penalties, has got to get better. So I think he's on top of it. We'll see in a couple of weeks. We start camp.
I certainly hope we don't have to suffer through that again.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that was sad, man.
Okay,
and
so
another thing.
Yeah.
Another thing. We keep recruiting tight ends, but we don't use them. Why do we keep recruiting them when we're not going to use them?
So Troy, so Troy, is he speaking to the choir now? You agree with that?
Oh man, I am so mad that we don't throw that football to our tight ends like we should. It's pretty disgusting. Matter of fact, I think we got a new one, right? A 3-star kid. They said it's going to be a tight end. If we don't get him the football, it's going to be a waste.
Hey, Doug, a tight end is the quarterback's best friend, right?
Yep, and sometimes your left and right tackle's best friend.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So there were times we had to leave them tight ends in the block and to protect, and so, I know scheme and opponent dictate who you get the ball to, but I like to see it spread around a little bit. I think we have some guys that are in a tight end body that we've kind of used in across the field in different ways. So I know you like to see a traditional 3-point stance, tight end firing out of there, and those guys are in the middle of the field. I'm always saying the middle of the field is wide open. So I'm a fan of guys that work in the middle, and we got some talent, man. So we'll see. Those guys got to go out there and earn it too. He got to show up on campus and earn it. And we got some guys that have put some work in already. So I'm like you guys, man. Let's. You guys want the ball. They think they pass catches more than blockers. So speed them happy, right?
All right.
Hey,
Sterling. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I got back on here because I wanted to make sure that the offer that John made for you all to be able to go down on his yacht. I want to be in that crew.
You want to be in that boat?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Hey, no riffraff on that boat, man. This is only the creme. Hey, the creme de la creme. This is only.
What do you think about that, Bobo?
And I didn't know Doug was a rapper.
Yeah. He got a mixtape out on daftpiff.com. Check out his mixtape. Some gangster rap.
Oh Lord.
All right, guys. Hey, we gotta get off, man.
Aggie Bad. I can rap Aggie Bad for you.
Oh, you know what? For real, Doug, you used to sing gospel. Remember Alonzo Lee? When y'all did the gospel choir?
And the gospel choir.
Craig, you remember they were going around all the churches in Greensboro and they was going and rocking the house? And Rico Watson was singing lead, and Doug.
Yeah, we
was
only
singing.
had about 3 real singers.
It was you, Doug. It was you, Rico.
Hey, I got.
It wasn't me. I wasn't the real singer.
Bobo, you got the last word. What you gotta say, Bobo?
No, that was me. That was me too.
No, I'm gonna get Bobo. I don't care about you, Troy. I'm gonna get Bobo the last word. What you got, man?
Y'all killing me.
You all right, Bobo?
I was just sitting around and saw the things say we own. So let me just see what's happening. I figured this was from earlier this evening or something.
No, we live, man.
Bobo.
No, you're live. Bobo. You're live.
So Bobo. So when we recorded and we posted, that's the what we call it? I can't forget her name. The after we call it Inside the Valley. Inside the Valley. Inside the Valley is the brand we use when we do like our tape shows with all the sounds and intros. But when we go live, when we just do a regular, no holds barred, no safety net live stream, then that's Blue Death After Dark. So that's the difference. But guys, we gotta get out. Hey, Bobo, we gotta get out of here. Troy, I'll see you on the game at half court. You ain't got nothing to say, Troy. Troy,
come on, man.
Make it quick, Troy. What you got, man?
All right. So I wanted to be clear about the number.
Yes.
Hampton shot 61 from the field, 68 from 3.
Goodness.
Good Lord.
68 from 3.
68.
68 from 3.
That's impossible.
Yes.
That's impossible. That's gotta be NCAA record.
Like, what was the final? What was the final? Like, how many did they make? I'd like to know.
They made a lot.
Oh man, I closed my phone, so I can't tell you. I think it was like 15 of them.
They shot 15 threes and they made 68% of them. Or no,
they shot more than that and they made 15, I think.
But
we had I think 28 fouls and they had 15.
Well, okay, that has to be one of the most craziest statistical games of the year.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody else is better than that.
The good thing is Coach Jones does a weekly YouTube show.
He does a podcast,
with Turkin, and so he'll go in. He's honest. He's transparent. He'll tell us exactly what he thinks about what happened. But you ain't gonna win no games. Not some. You're not gonna win any games if you allow the opposing team to shoot 68% from the 3-point line.
And 61 from
that's damn near 70%. I'm calling that close to 70%.
Bobo, and then 61 from the field, and then our ladies lost too.
Yeah,
they lost by like 9. Yeah,
9. Bobo, did you ever shoot? You ever play basketball? You ever shoot 68% from the 3-point line?
I didn't shoot 68% from the free throw line.
No, dang. So that's crazy. 68% from the 3-point line. Yeah. All right. So we gotta get out of here. So for Bobo, A&T Roy, my main man Doug Brown, and of course, legendary Craig Turner. I am Samaj Marsh. Guys, we probably do this in the next week, couple weeks. We try to do it regularly now. We got stuff to talk about, and we got Bobo in the mix, so we can always bring him in. We can't. Hey, we can't get no guests, Craig. We can't get no
Bobo.
We can't get no guests. We call up Bobo. Bobo gonna rock the spot. All right, guys. Y'all think so? Hey, so see y'all next week. Blue Death After Dark. Take care. Peace.
Go Aggies.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.